the land of the five rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
We back. Man, y'all already know what time it is.
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Raiders! Man, y'all already know what time it is, man. It's the 50-50 Show. Make sure to clock in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. It's that simple. We're going live on both our channels. So if you haven't already, it's your first time viewing the show, definitely subscribe to both channels, as well as hitting that like button and hitting that notification bell so you be notified when we drop new content. Yeah, man. No, we gonna get into it, man. I know it's the late night show, y'all. You already know what time it is, man. It's the late night show, man. Coach over here clowning, man.
Yeah,
what took y'all long to start the show, man? We starting it, man. We starting it.
Practice went long for my kid, man.
We started, man. Daryl in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through. He says, let me roll out the red carpet before you make a headway. Severe Raider. Man. Hey, man. We should have, like, I'm gonna have something for that too. Man. I have a thought in my head. I'm about to make sure I get that done. Carlos Enfuego says, do you believe Cam Miller would get more playing time than Aiden? I think it's too soon for that. I think he might will definitely be getting more playing time in the preseason, but it's too early to tell. We'll see. We'll see. D-Moke says Cam Miller for MVP. You know, it's funny, D-Mokes, man. I know you be clowning. It went from Aiden O'Connell for MVP to Cam Miller, man. That's wild, huh? Kevin Lurker in the building says it's about that time. Salute Pharaoh Severe, man. Appreciate you coming through. KJ's, man, that's old video.
Think about the intros. I do got some old videos on there, but I gotta change it. Gotta change.
Oh, yeah. I mean, some of it, like, I'm gonna change up mines, but I'm gonna keep some of it. Some of them is just like, hey, man, like, those are classic. That's classic Raider footage for me. And there's some that I'm like, you know what, like, they need to get. We might have to edit this out a little bit. I think mine's got Devontae in it. A clip of Devontae. I'm like, come on.
I got Devontae in mine. I got.
Even though Devontae's a great player, he was a great player.
Jack Jones in mine.
Off topic. What was your favorite Devontae game? I know this ran hella random. What was your favorite Devontae game as a Raider?
My favorite Devontae game, the first one against the Chargers. That was the first one.
Against the Chargers.
That very first one. His very first game as a Raider. I've never been so excited. Even though we lost that game, he just dominated that game, bro. Just so, like, single-handedly. I was like, bro, and he was my favorite player too, until I kind of saw what he was. So, like, the fact that my favorite player was playing for my favorite team, and then he just went out there and just dominated like that, bro. I was so amped. I was like, man, we got us one. We finally got us. Because it's been a long time since we had a number one receiver like that could just, like, take over a game. So I was amped, bro. And it's like,
oh, man, that's a good one. I'm going to have to say it's either between the Denver game, the game winner, like the walk-off. I ain't gonna lie, that KC game. Yeah. I know we lost that game, but that was a great game. We had an opportunity to win that game.
The one we ran into the Hunter ran into each other.
The one where he should have, to be honest with you, it's crazy that I'm saying that was like one of my favorite games. It's just like where he had that deep long catch at the end.
And he didn't get his feet in bounds. Yeah.
We had a whole bunch of
opportunities. Yeah, because we Malcolm Kuntz got the penalty on the missed kick. Then it was him not like that bobbling and not getting his feet in bounds after the bobble, and then it was the Hunter Renfro thing where they run into each other. It's like we had opportunities.
Kyle says, "What's your favorite football team?"
Oh man, the UCLA Bruins. The UCLA Bruins.
Oh, that's your favorite football team?
Yeah. Oh, you got Nico.
You're a bigger UCLA fan than Raider fan?
Oh, no, I'm a way bigger Raiders fan.
I was about to say.
That's like my favorite. The Raiders are my favorite sports team, period. Unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately.
That makes sense.
All my other teams are winning outside of UCLA. The Lakers won, not that long ago. I went to the playoffs last year. Dodgers won the World Series last year, but I'm still a bigger Raiders fan for some reason. I don't know why.
Right.
I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess.
Right. Hey, man, if you haven't already, like I said, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Man, today we're going to get into, some of our, we're going to get into, our final thoughts on what happened preseason week 1. We'll get into some of the rookies, their performances this week, or last weekend. A lot of these guys were able to showcase their talents. We'll talk about how they look. Also, flag on a play, notable quotables, all that good stuff. All that's coming up. We're going to get into it. O-line update. We're going to get into that, man. It's going to be an interesting conversation today. And then we're actually going to also look back at our overreaction takes. So around the shield last week happened to be the day that the Raiders played the Seahawks. Post-game show. We definitely had some hot takes. And before we preface it by saying, before we even started the conversation, we said there's going to be a lot of overreaction takes today. But we'll look back at that and see, is there some truth to what we're talking about, or did we go all the way left field? So we'll get into that conversation. But yeah, man, Casper 74 or more. Man, we got a Raider fan. He says I'm a Raiders fan and an A's fan. I start making stupid decisions as a small child.
Yeah, I think that's Pharaoh too, right? I think you're a Raiders fan and A's fan.
Hey man, but I got a Houston Astros hat on. You know what I'm saying? So I got to change it up every
just
now
clean
and then.
hat. It's clean hat.
Hey man, so, look, the way I grew up though, like a lot of people used to wear hats from just depending on if they like the hat or not. So I've seen people that I don't know what it is. Maybe as you get older, you kind of like solidify like, okay, this is my hat or this is my team and this is the hat I'm gonna get. But I remember growing up like people wearing like, depending on what they're wearing, Seattle Mariners hat, Yankee hat, LA hat, obviously, you know what I mean, all types of hats. But
I'm from LA, so there's a very very narrow
specific hats you can wear. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, you walk around with the wrong hat out here, and it'll be there'll be no Florida Marlins fan or no Boston Red Sox fan out here.
Hey man, I guess it depends on where you from. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. Carlos says diehard Raiders fan from LA to the Bay, now Vegas Raiders. Hey, yeah, man. Casper says I wear any hat from any sport except football. Can't wear anything but. Oh yeah. Facts.
I'm not mad at that.
I can't wear anything but the Raiders hat.
I don't like any other football's hats though. Like most of they kind of trash.
Nah, I seen some clean hats. I couldn't wear it though. I was like, I can't do it. I can't wear like football. I don't know what it is about it. It's like I can't. Yeah. I might appreciate it from afar. I'd be like, oh, that's a clean hat. That's cool. But I wouldn't wear it just because like it just football is a different animal. Yeah. I agree, man. Casper, man, I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't like any other teams. Like I don't like most of the teams' logos. I really don't like.
Outside of the Raiders, let me see.
Yeah, there's a lot of trash logos. Like I could see, not even the Packers. I don't really like their colors, like the green and mustard. Like it's trash colors. It's trash colors. Like maybe the Falcons. I can see.
When I think of Falcons, I think of Michael Vick. I think Mike Vick. You know them classic Mike Vick jerseys, or a Falcons jersey. That's it. I call it a Mike Vick jersey, but like I'm just saying, like he definitely was a. He's what AI was to the Sixers back in the day.
Yeah, when I think of Falcons, I think of Mike Vick and I think of Jamal Anderson. Dirty Bird.
I just think of Mike Vick. Mike Vick, Warwick Dunn. Who was the tight end?
Algie Crumpler.
Algie Crumpler. Did Peerless Price play with the Falcons?
Peerless Price, I want to say that was the Bills.
I know he played for the Bills, but did he play for the Falcons? I think he might have played for the Falcons.
He might have played for the Falcons. I remember him for with the Bills.
Because think about the receivers that Vic played with. I think Price might have been with the Falcons at some point, but I don't know. But yeah, you know where you're right. I'm trying to think. Like
most of it is trash. Like Coach, the Falcons logo looks like Hulk Hogan. His logo is trash. Logo is trash.
Man. Eagles
are solid. Eagles solid. Like if it's the all black with like a little bit of green on there, I can see I can rock that. Okay, he played with the Falcons.
Coach, you said Vikings have a great logo?
That's what I said. Their logo look like Hulk Hogan.
Come on, man.
And Egalitarian said Peerless Price played with the Falcons. He did play with the Falcons.
Yeah, see, I
remember with the Falcons. He played for the Bills, all right? He played for the Bills.
He played Eric Moles, Peerless Price. Yeah.
But I say that's all I remember him with. I can't remember with the Falcons.
He was there for a couple seasons. So I'm a Raiders fan, Warriors fan, Sharks fan, Athletics fan.
I don't know anything about hockey. I tried to get into hockey a little bit.
I tried,
when the Kings were good. When the Kings were good, because everybody in LA was like supporting the Kings when they were nice. But ever since then, like they fell off. I stopped watching.
Man, what's so crazy? Now that I look back, like it's crazy what like how businesses will do things. Like for example, Disney, the reason why they came up with Mighty Ducks is because they were gonna have a team out there, so they were trying to generate interest in that team, which was I think it was the Ducks. I don't know, was it the Kings? How long? I don't know how long the Kings. No, it was I think it was the Ducks.
Mighty Ducks. The Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, the Ducks. Yeah, Anaheim Ducks.
Actually, man, the Anaheim Ducks, the Mighty Duck, they got a smooth logo. Like for a hockey logo, it's like that mask, the duck mask.
But see, but the thing is though but you've been they got you, bro. They got you. Cause think about it. They got you off the movie, and not just the movie. Remember the show?
Yeah, oh yeah, the Ducks, yeah, the cartoon. That was cold.
I'm telling you, they got you. Cold. So now they're like, okay, so if you ever want to just become a Hockey's fan, you might be thinking about becoming a Ducks fan or whatever. But
I'll still be a Kings fan, just like LA. But the Ducks are Anaheim, just like the Angels. Like they try to flip it and say Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Nah, bro, Anaheim.
And what's crazy, hockey's it's a physical game too. Like I'm talking about, like they I don't know if they still allow it, but they be brawling.
Yeah, they still allow it. I mean, from what I'm told from people, I've never actually personally been. When I told people that have been to like every single type of sports, like team sporting event, I've heard that hockey is like the best to go to in person. Like it's the most fun. I don't know how true that is. So that could be part of the reason why the Knights took off so quickly.
Nah, Alec, I can't rock with this, man. It's plain bagel. Yeah. Plain bagel.
Yeah, the Cards. It's no other logo I really like, man, to be honest with you. The Seahawks one is not bad.
I don't like animal logos.
You don't like animal logos? That's like that eliminates half the NFL.
Yeah, that definitely.
Oh yeah. So coaching and Marcus Banks agree. They I guess they both been to hockey games. I've heard. He's like, I know people that used to work at Staples, and they just like, man, hockey games go up. Like hockey games is dope.
Yeah, man, I gotta go.
I gotta go to one
experience it. I've never been. Hockey's legit. Okay. Cardinals. Man, you get a spot right now. Yeah, that was
that's
random.
like that's a weird.
Alec, right? I'm gonna have to. Nah, bro. The Jaguars for show. It's ugly. Jaguars ugly to me. I don't know.
Yeah. The Panthers one is cool. Panthers one's not bad. There's no. The Cardinals are such a weird. Like that's a weird thing to name your team after. Like, cause that's like a very like soft bird. Like that's not like this is like a Seahawk. It's like a Seahawk. It's an eagle. Like you think about like they're like predatory animals. Like nobody thinks of like like a cardinal. That's like I don't know. It's very. I don't want to say effeminate, but yeah, that's what.
How about the Giants?
I'm an LA dude. I ain't rocking with no NY. Like I would never rock.
Oh, okay, that's the bias. It's West Coast bias right here. I was just talking about. I thought we were just gonna keep it real. Just talk about like how it has like now. The bias came out.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The Steelers. I will give the Steelers. I will because and it's classic too. I ain't mad at the Steelers. Yeah. The Bucks is not trash.
But yeah, Bucks. Kind of. I mean, when did the Bucks?
Where they change?
Yeah, because I feel like that's like they kind of stole the Raiders swag a little bit. The pirate,
they definitely stole the Raiders swag, but they had to because like them creamsicle joints is they had to do something.
Mighty Ducks of Anaheim when they first came out in '93. Yeah, just think about the movies that came out in the '90s. Yeah. So, man, Disney, man, they powerful.
The San Francisco. Oh man, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, man. You know what? That's now that I think about it, like the Falcons is clean.
Falcons clean. The Eagles, like you said, Eagles. I can get down with the Eagles.
And you said Steelers, okay.
Steelers is clean.
But reality though, the best hats are like baseball hats.
Facts. Because they gotta, because baseball hats wear them. Baseball players wear them.
Yeah.
So like that's like you gotta have a clean hat. If you don't got a clean hat, it's like
bro, there's a lot of baseball hats that are like clean compared to like an NFL hat. Like
St. Louis Cardinals got a clean. They had is clean. The Boston Red Sox had is like most of them are. It's like very few bad ones. Like the Miami Marlins are trash. Looks like just hats are trash. There are very few teams with like bad hats. Like that M is ugly to me. But even the Giants is cool. Like
Giants is clean, bro.
Giants is cool. I can't Giants
is clean.
I don't really wear a lot of orange, but that's smooth.
Cause it pops.
Yeah,
it pops.
The Angels, I really don't rock with the Angels. The old Angels logo, I like. The old Angels hats with the A, the dark blue with the A with the red ring. That was clean. I can do that. That one was clean, but the new ones I don't really like, especially like when they had the ones with the wing on the end. That was trash.
Yeah.
But the old ones, like when they were the California Angels, those was clean. Those were clean.
Yeah.
The A's is cool too. I mean, I don't be rocking no green like that, but like it's
to throw that in there. Now, yeah, A's is clean. Pittsburgh Pirates.
It's
I like
clean.
they had
too. But it's like I said, I can't. Yeah, like the Phillies, the Pirates. It's certain ones you can't be. Yeah, man.
My bad, bro. My bad. My bad.
I can get away with the LA. If it's LA, I can rock. If it's an LA hat, I can rock that LA hat. Can't rock no Texas Rangers hat. Can't rock no. There's a whole bunch of hats out here, man. Like I said, the Florida Marlins, Texas Rangers. You can't do with the T on there. Nah, bro. Nah.
Oh, okay.
Can't do it. Can't do it out here. Trying to think.
How about Diamondbacks?
Diamondbacks is theirs. I really don't. It's the A with the little weird diamonds on there. I don't hate it, but it's not one I would like rock. I don't hate it though.
Mariners.
Hell no. Oh hell no.
Seattle Mariners. Oh, okay.
Can't do it out here, bro. Can't do it out here.
Okay. Yankees hat is clean though. I ain't gonna front.
Yankees hat is clean. You definitely can't do that out here. Oh my goodness.
But I ain't gonna lie, Yankees like that hat is. It's just. I'm not gonna lie. Like you don't even have to be a Yankees fan. It's just a clean hat, bro.
Yeah.
Dodgers hat is clean too.
Dodgers hat is classic. That's like to me that's just like the cleanest one. Of course it is. Bro. That's just clean. I mean, like I like the St. Louis one though too. Just the St. Louis with the SL on there, just like that's smooth.
Detroit.
That Tigers one is that's clean too.
Detroit hat. Too. White Sox. Okay. All right. Yeah,
White Sox is clean. White Sox is clean too. Yeah, White Sox is clean. Can't lie about that. That was clean. That's clean.
Yeah.
Cubs one I hate.
see that's so baseball hats probably probably the best. Like and basketball hats probably might be even worse.
Basketball hat. Yeah.
Like if you have to rank them, it's like baseball's number one, and then after that you probably throw in football. I'm just basing it off the Raiders hat, like for me.
Yes, but, you know what? I'll probably have to go basketball number 2. I'll probably go basketball 2.
We talking about like the Bulls hat.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you got the Bulls. I think the Lakers hat is clean. I think even the Clippers one ain't bad. Who else got the Timberwolves hat especially with the one with just the wolf on there. I think that's clean. It's a few teams on there. The Heat is clean. It's a few. Like football, all of them is trash outside the Raiders, really. But I think basketball got like a few teams. All right, that's clean.
I gotta, you know what? I gotta look at this, bro. I gotta look at the football.
Oh, and like the Spurs, the Spurs one, especially like the Spurs. The Spurs is cool too. It's a few cool basketball teams hats.
Let me see. NFL.
I'm trying to think another year. I already said the Heat. The Knicks hat is cool too. The Knicks, I ain't no Knicks fan, but though I said that logo go up.
Oh, I ain't gonna lie. Houston Oilers. I seen the Houston Oilers hat. That shit was clean.
The Oilers is clean. They ain't a team no more, so I don't count.
But it's a throwback. It's clean.
It's clean.
We said the Steelers was clean.
It was clean.
How you feel about the Jets? Man.
That's not bad. Just cool. Just cool.
Ravens.
Ravens is cool too. Just like the new ones, just the bird on there.
Dolphins.
That's cool. If it's the white hat with the Dolphins logo on there, that's clean. You use any other color is trash, but it got to be like the base of the hat got to be white.
Let me see. Oh, Saints.
Saints ain't bad. It's just hella simple. It's just
Seahawks.
I ain't rocking with the Seahawks.
The 49ers.
Can't lie. The 49ers is they cool. It's cool. I can't lie.
We play them this week.
Can't lie.
We play them this week,
Yeah.
and we got a joint practice this week, this Thursday. That's gonna be a big test because they're a physical team, and the Seahawks, the team that we just played in the week 1 of preseason, it felt like they came ready to play. I mean, it's week 1 preseason game. Like we said, like the other day, like we're not gonna like look into who wins the game or not. We're just gonna look at like certain parts that were concerning. And looking back at it, I think linebackers didn't come to play that day. Our linebackers, that second level, that defense didn't come to play. Defensive line didn't really feel like they getting pressure. And let's actually go to our overreaction takes, because that's what we said in the beginning of the show. We're gonna react, or we're gonna look back at our overreaction. Our overreaction tapes happened last week after the game, and I was immediately just watching it. I'm like, man, we're gonna have a terrible defense this year. That was my overreaction take. Now looking back at it, is there a possible chance that I'm wrong? For sure. Definitely. Am I concerned still? Yes, I am. Because looking at the talent on this defense, outside of Max Crosby, who can you tell me without a doubt is going to be a playmaker on this defense? There's a lot of question marks.
Yeah, there's nobody without a doubt.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So like, a lot of it is going to be counting on the coaches. And this goes back to, shout out to Mint Beats. He had a good question last show where he talked about, like, he was specifically talking about the offensive line. But if you think about it as a whole, like, do you believe the talent is more important or coaching?
Yeah.
And I think, you can make valid points for both, but I feel like at the end of the day, I think the coaching sets the floor and the talent is going to set your ceiling. Yeah. In my opinion, you know what I mean? The coaching will probably get the most out of whatever you got, but if you ain't got a lot of talent, that's your ceiling. Like, you're not going to get any higher than a certain level. But obviously, if you got like playmakers everywhere, you got a good team, then the limit is it can go through. There could be a lot of different ways that it can go down as far as what that team could look like.
Yeah. I think with football is the sport. Football and college basketball, I think, are the two sports where coaching is most important. Where it's like, if you may not have the best talent, but if you are able to outcoach your opponent, then you will win. Like, you look at college basketball, look at teams that win the NCAA tournament. We always have some mid-majors that get into the mix somehow, because they have like some great coach that's able to galvanize the guys. They come with a good game plan. Like, not always is it like the superstar-studded team that wins it all, right? Like that wins March Madness. It's usually like a team of like senior guys that were 3- and 4-star recruits that have been together for a few years under the same coach, and they run the table. And look at football. It's, you look at it. It's not always about the talent. A lot of times it's about the team that's coached better. Team that makes less mistakes, and we see that time and time again. We see that's why like talk about free agency not like being that big of an impact, because it's not about like having these star-studded players. It's about, can you identify the right player for your team to play a role for you. So I think in football, it's super, super important. Obviously, talent always helps, but it's also very important to have good coaching.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we've seen that like plenty of times where we'll see a player not play well one year, and then he'll get a coach that like will be able to like put him in a position to succeed, and then he looks like a completely different player, looks like a Pro Bowl player. You know what I mean? So that's where how good. That's the impact of good coaching. But that being said, going back to my overreaction take about the defense, man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm concerned. If I had to rank it between a 1 and a 10 as far as my concern level with the Raiders defense, and I know it's early, and I heard, Pete Carroll the other day talk about like, a lot of the things that you're going to see in preseason is going to be pretty vanilla, which I understand. That's pretty common in the NFL, where, teams are not going to show a lot in preseason. I get that 100%, but they were playing against backups. And, when defensive line was, part of what made the defense good the last couple of seasons was because of our ability to get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
What I mean? Led by Max Crosby and then everybody else, right? But now, like, I'm not sure. I mean, Kuntz is like a big question mark to me. Like, I want to see Kuntz be successful. I want to see him ball out, but like to expect him to come back from that injury the same, 1 year removed from an injury that takes about 2 years to fully get back to your original explosive self. I don't know, and time will tell. We'll see. But I will say between a 1 and a 10 being the most concerned, I'll put it at like 7, 8 when it comes to the Raiders defense. Now the secondary, gives me a little hope, because I know what Pete Carroll can do with a secondary, especially a young secondary, and I can see that. But getting after the quarterback, just looking at the talent level, it's a lot of young pieces there, and it's just like, I don't know what it's gonna look like. I'm not sure what it's gonna look like, but we'll see. And then the linebacker is kind of questionable as well. We're kind of depending on like a Devin White to be the guy. Hey, you know what? I will say though, Jamal Adams, do you think he has a shot at being a starter?
Oh, I definitely think he has a shot at being a starter. I think Landon is probably a lock to be a starter. But the way Devin White was tackling, it definitely, and that's one of those big concerns we had about Devin White. It's not about his athleticism. Like, he's probably the most athletic linebacker we have. Maybe him, and maybe if now that Jamal Adams is a linebacker and no longer safety, maybe he's right there with him in terms of athleticism. But he's not built like Devin White, obviously. But like his ability to tackle, Devin White, that's something we brought up when we first brought him in, when we first signed him. We talked about his ability to tackle, or the lack thereof, where it's like, he's not really great in coverage, but he's not really great in the run game. It's not because he can't get there, it's just because he doesn't tackle well. And that those issues kind of cropped up in the preseason game against the Seahawks. So I think the way that Jamal Adams played this last game, he definitely has the opportunity to win the starting job.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think my concern with Jamal Adams is health. And then you're putting him at linebacker. He's going to be out there next to the big boys. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to have to. He's a physical player, and you're going to put him around a lot of physical players, like near the line of scrimmage. So, which might increase the chance of him getting hurt. So like, that's my thing with him, is just is really his health. But he looked good out there. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Very
And that's the thing. That's what I wanted to see overall from the team. Really was that. I know it's not gonna be a perfect game. It's first preseason game, whatever the case may be. But it's like when you're playing against backups, you want at least a little bit of like, just to show out a little bit. You know what I mean? Like this. Oh, okay, the starters are here. That's the reason why they getting the job done. Even if it's vanilla or whatever the case. Pete Carroll was saying. So my concern level, just looking back at my overreaction take, it's still like a 7 or 8. To be honest with you, just because like that front 7, I'm looking at that front 7, I'm like, outside of Max, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what it's gonna look like when, you know, and I hope someone surprised me. That's the thing. I'm waiting for someone to surprise me. So. And probably won't find out until week 1, because that's when Pete Carroll says, oh, that's when, you know, we're going to put out, like, you know, obviously the defense and you know, we're going to be a little bit more, they're going to show a little bit more than what they're showing in the preseason, which I understand. But I think for me right now, it's a little bit of wait and see, but I'm still concerned about the defense. And for anybody to say that, oh, no, it's just the first preseason game. I'm like, come on, like there are questions going into the offseason. There was questions like literally the Raiders had trouble stopping the run last year. They were hurt, obviously, throughout the season as far as, you know, defensive line, injuries. So kind of people kind of cut them some slack, but these were things that were like questions throughout the offseason, and then that first preseason game comes and we still have those questions. So, yeah. You know, it does. I don't understand why people can't understand that, why people are having an issue with what they're seeing in that first preseason game, especially when they're going against backups. Now, I don't care about who wins. I don't care who wins at the end of it. It doesn't matter. Preseason doesn't matter. I'm just looking at it from perspective. I don't even care what happens. I'll look at some of the players that flash. You know, like Hemingway kind of flashed a little bit. Okay, Hemingway flashed some guys on the D line, but it was like in a second half, like, yeah, and that's hard for me to be like, oh, okay, it's good that he's making plays, but it's like what is it gonna look like when you go against starters? And that's on the coaches to probably make adjustments and have them play with the ones. And you know, Pete Carroll said after the game that, you know, the starters are gonna be playing plenty of snaps this next game. So yeah. which is interesting, man. I like the attitude that Pete Carroll is going about it. Like, he's like, nah, y'all need to get as much snaps against the ones, or you need to get as much snaps as possible. And I like that. I like the way he's kind of going about it, because in years past, a lot of coaches kind of tend to be a little bit conservative and like, we don't want to get this player hurt. We want to save him for the regular season and all that type of stuff. But what happens is that first game, you can see like there's a lot of rust. But I want to hear your take on your overreaction take, because you went to the offense.
Yes.
And your overreaction take was about, you said, I think specifically you said that the Raiders were going to be a bottom 20 running team, rushing offense.
Yes.
Do you still feel that way?
That was based on exclusively what I saw that day. And I was just saying, if what I saw that day continues, will that be the case? Definitely. Do I expect it to continue? No. A lot of that had to do with just, you know, like, there's a lot of miscommunications on the line, a lot of missed assignments. You can tell guys just weren't comfortable in their roles. I think Parham and Miller, I think they only played the one series, if I recall correctly. I think Glaze played a little bit longer than that. And then, you know, Meredith and JPJ, they were out there for an extended period of time. And, you know, the fact that they played out there for that extended period of time, that was cause for pause in and of itself. And the fact that they were out there for that extended period of time and neither one of them looked great, that's also cause for concern. Now, neither one of them I would classify as bad, but when you're playing against 2s and 3s and you're expected to be a starter, I want to see domination, and that's not what I saw. And it's even looking at the tape, and that's what I think. That's where people, that's where the disconnect happens. And shout out to Anthony, man. Hey, let me know if you're gonna be out here in Billiontown on Sunday, man. I'm an LA dude. Like literally, that stadium's like 10 minutes from where I stay, bro. So I'd love to come out and support the kids, man. I'll bring my son out. He likes watching youth football, man. So yeah, let us know. But back to my point, man. I think that's the disconnect happens where people, they will discard what they see because they'll attribute it to, oh, it's just preseason. I don't care about it just being preseason. And, I'm not looking at necessarily the result of the game for sure. I'm not looking at not even necessarily the result of any particular play, but I'm just looking at the machinations of that play. You know what? Hey, how did guys handle this? Did they pick up the blitz? Was the communication good on this play? Like, what kind of technique did the guy use? Were they passing off the stunts correctly? How good did they handle the silent count? Like all that stuff matters. How clean were the snaps? Like all that stuff. Looking at how good was the guy's footwork on this particular play? Like, hey, on this duo play, did they set it up correctly? Did he flip his hips and create the line? Like you look at that kind of stuff and you look at the execution there. Looking at Genty, like, oh, you know what? Did he read the hole? When he saw the hole, did he have a burst to and through the hole? Like all that stuff. Oh, did he recognize a cutback lane? How was his pass pro in this particular play? Like how was his route on this particular play when he was coming out of backfield for a catch? Like you look at these things and you might not, and that stuff is you can't attribute that to it's vanilla play calling, because these are the fundamentals, right? Like calling a more complicated scheme isn't going to fix fundamentals, right? Like you can get better plays. You might be able to get guys open because you scheme them open, but yet and still football, it comes down to the fundamentals: blocking, tackling, running the proper routes. Like all that stuff is just fundamental stuff. And when you're not executing on the fundamentals, that's where the concern comes in. And that's where the concern comes in, especially on the offensive line, because they weren't executing on the fundamental things. And if they aren't executing on the fundamental things, that makes the job that much more difficult for a guy like Genty. And we kind of saw the first play. I already said he missed the cutback lane, and there's another lane that was open that he didn't have the burst to get through, and so he ended up getting tackled for a 3-yard loss. Second play, he got hit in the backfield. Literally nothing he can do. Third play, where's there an opportunity to bounce around outside? If he was a more explosive back, maybe he could have bounced a bit. Instead, it would have been extremely difficult for any back, unless you're like, one of the elite athletes in the NFL. So it's not a lot of anybody could have did on that run. So that was more offensive line in him. So if the offensive line, so out of his 3 runs, 2 of them were essentially blown up because of bad offensive line play. So if we're not getting good offensive line play, this ain't the Mountain West anymore. He's not going to be able to. He was struggling against second and third stringers because the line wasn't blocking. So I don't expect him to produce majorly against first stringers. So if the guys in front of him aren't allowing him to do the things he needs to do as a runner, it's going to be a very long season for him. So, do I think we'll finish bottom 20? No, but I was expecting, a top 7-ish, and with what we're doing on the offensive line right now, I no longer have that expectation.
Yeah, because right now they're still figuring out the right combination for that offensive line. And then on top of that, if you think about that, like you hear Pete Carroll talk about the offensive line and who the starters can possibly be and at what spots. And Pete Carroll's like, hey, it can go well into the first few games of the season, as far as them figuring that out. And if that's the case, then you got to think about like what's one of the most important things with when you have 5 guys out there is chemistry. You know what I mean? They got to be able to like play with each other and pause. But y'all understand what I'm saying? Like they got to be able to like be out. They got to be out there. First of all, But they gotta be out there and playing meaningful snaps. And like if they're not able to do that, like at the end of the day, like it's just gonna take time. And we seen that last year where it felt like no one was on the same page, and like it took a little bit for Colt Miller to come back. It wasn't until like probably the middle of the season where I was like, oh, okay, it looks a little bit better. And if that's the case, then yeah, that's going to affect that ranking for sure. If you had them going to being a top 10 rushing team. Now I will say this though, Chip Kelly he's the X factor. Chip Kelly is the ultimate X factor. He's going to be doing some things because he kept it. I'll be honest, he did keep it super basic. And Pete Carroll came out and said like that's going to be the whole theme of the entire preseason. So. And Chip Kelly is known to like kind of, show some different looks, some motions, finding creative ways to run the football and making a defense think that, it's going to be looked this way or they're going to go that way. So I'm going to give Pete Carroll benefit of the doubt. How's that going to look like? Is there going to be a little bit of an adjustment period for that too? Like it seems like it's going to, that might be in there, but then I'm going to give Chip Kelly a little bit more benefit of doubt because there's also going to be situations where, man, that was a great play. That was a great play call. That's a great, because what's going to happen is they're going to be inconsistent to begin with, I feel like.
Yeah.
Just because they're still trying to figure out who's the starters.
Yeah.
It's going to take like 4 or 5 games of the same starters, and then we're going to start seeing like, oh, okay, more consistency from them, but we'll see. I think that's definitely a concern level, and I guess it's a good segue. We could talk about one of the big storylines coming out of training camp, and then coming from that game, and even the last few days in training camp, is Jackson Powers-Johnson and Jordan Meredith. That battle that's happening, or is there even a battle happening? I mean, at this point, like,
no,
it seems like
it's not a battle.
It seemed like Meredith got the center spot. I think he's pretty much been the starter at center, for the last like couple weeks. I mean, I don't think I don't remember the last time where JPJ has, taken snap at center. I mean, maybe, probably a couple times here and there, maybe as a backup, maybe with the twos or whatever. But for the most part, he's a starting right guard. Now,
recently, I don't think at all. Recently, he's been exclusively a right guard, and when he's not with the first team, he's taking snaps at second team right guard. So I don't even think he's taking any. Like as you said, I don't think it's been at least a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks since he's taken any snaps at center.
Yeah, and then like the other day was like their first practice. Was that their first practice since the game?
I think it was the second. I thought it was the second one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's Sunday. I think Sunday was a padded. It was a padded practice, and JPJ was nowhere to be found. Yeah. Or he was there. He was dressed, but he wasn't out there. You know what I mean? He wasn't playing. So everybody was like, "What is going on?" And I'm not gonna lie. Like, what is going on with JPJ? Why is he not the starting center? Like, the guy got drafted in the second round. We seen the talent. We seen what he did when he went to center last year. Fast forward, we all know Pete Carroll, he's a head coach. He brought his son as offensive line coach. And for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out that way. Right now he's the starting right guard. Now, I will say this, though. Today, I don't know if you had a good chance to check it out, but Richie Incognito was able to talk about the center, the battle, so to speak, quote unquote battle that's happening or not happening, Jordan Meredith and JPJ. And he was saying, and he has some experience in this, because he was a guard for most of his career, but he also was projected to be at center too as well. And he said when he was playing that spot, it's a lot harder. It's like the hardest position to play on the offensive line because of like so many things that they have to be able to be aware of and have attention to detail of, because every down and distance is a whole different scenario, whole different things that you got to look at, every small detail that you got to look at. And if you're a center, you got to be like probably the most prepared guy. You got to be you're the quarterback of that offensive line. And he's giving an educated guess in the situation. I'm not sure if he's probably hearing some stuff, he can hear some tea leaves or whatever, but he's saying that's probably what JPJ's facing right now, is the fact that, like, in order for you to be that center spot, you got to be consistent to the point where the coaching staff can trust you to be that guy to, like, where it's third and long and you're calling the right play. You're calling out the blitzes and the situations that can happen in every down and distance. So that's what he's saying. Like, it's more of a JPJ thing where is he prepared enough to be a center? And when I look at it from this perspective, I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, like, if Meredith is the most prepared guy, if he's the one that they can trust the most, and JPJ is not out there, like, he's not on his A game, then I guess I can at least rock with that better than you wanting to make Meredith be a center because you don't feel like he's a guard and you feel like JPJ can be a guard or center and just move, because we didn't really get any type of context. And I'm sure there's more to it than what's being told, because it feels like, like when you hear Dylan Parham and you hear all these guys like talk about like Meredith, they're all saying the right things about like Meredith being a smart guy out there and yada yada. But even like Adam Butler saying, like, the other day where he was like, oh yeah, whenever he decides to, he's an all-pro guard. It's almost like that was like a message from the coaches that was sent to the players for him to say that. Like, why would you say that when you know that he's in a competition to be a center? That was just weird. If you think about it, like, at first I took it like, oh man, that's a great compliment. But then I was like, man, like, isn't he battling for center? So why are you trying to, I don't know. It's a weird situation.
Yeah. I mean, so I think Incognito, I think he tried to talk about the difficulty that he had, playing center. And I would say that, it's entirely different scenarios, because Richie Incognito wasn't a center in college. First of all, he bounced around in college because he had off-field issues. And then he played tackle in college. So he's a guy that moved from tackle to guard, which is a transition a lot of people make when they don't feel they have the feet to play tackle in the NFL. So that's a very common transition. So, like, he didn't play a lot of snaps at center, if any, because he was drafted by the Rams his first year. I think he was like started off on PUP. Then he finished out the year on IR. I don't even think he played at all his first year. Second year, he played at 4 different spots on the offensive line. I think one of them was center, but it wasn't for an extended period of time. And then by year 3, he was a full-time guard in the NFL. So he's speaking, I think he's speaking from what he thinks is going on. But just in terms of preparation, think about JPJ's been preparing all offseason. We heard about the kind of preparation he's been doing, the time he's been taking to get himself ready to play center. The fact that he flew down to Miami to work with Geno because he knew how important the center quarterback relationship was, and he wanted to make sure that those guys were on the same page. So you're telling me a guy that's flying down there, preemptively, not at the behest of anybody, but volunteering to do that, to put in that extra work just so that relationship between those two is good. A guy who Max initially, didn't like because of his maturity, and now got to a point there where Max trusts a guy to host his podcast when he goes on vacation, and a guy that's been working with them. So he has that kind of trust. The leader of your team, the face of your franchise, has that kind of trust in this guy. And you're telling me that, like, the coaching staff doesn't think that he'll recognize what to do on the third? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, maybe that's what's going on behind the scenes, but if this was the case and where they didn't trust him, Joe Philbin's been here since last year. Joe Philbin has some insight into the kind of person that JPJ is. Patrick Graham's been here since last year. He has some kind of insight into what a kind of player that JPJ is. there's other people that were retained on staff that would know the kind of person and kind of worker that JPJ is. So if that was their concern, why did they not approach Jordan Meredith until the beginning of OTAs and ask him, have you thought about playing center? You might want to start getting ready just in case. Like, this would have been something they approached him a long time ago and said something about. And if this was your thinking, why do you then go out and give a relatively big contract to a washed-up guard who was statistically the worst at his position in all of the NFL last year? Like, if your thought was we might have to move Jackson to guard, then you have Parham, and then you have Jackson, and then you have Jordan Meredith at center. You shouldn't be going out and paying more money to a guard that's going to be a backup and very likely won't see the field unless there's an injury. So if this was their thinking, then they went about it terribly. What it seems to me is right now they're flying by the seat of their pants, because they had a plan in place. Obviously, it's not working. I don't know if it's more of a JPJ thing or more of an Alex Kappa thing, but now they're having to try to kind of change gears. And I think some of this is covered. I think some of this is covered because they didn't do a good enough job addressing the guard position in free agency or in the draft, and now they're panicking and they have to do something at the position. Maybe they don't feel Meredith is a fit there. Obviously, Kappa is not working out there like they had hoped. So now they're just trying to come up with something at the very last minute. And if you don't have that plan in place, this is kind of what happens, right? You plan your work and work your plan. Obviously, they didn't have a good enough plan at the guard position, and it's kind of showing itself right now. And we'll see how that translates into the regular season. But you got a guy that really doesn't know what he's doing at right guard, and a guy that really doesn't know what he's doing at center. And that's why they're playing extended minutes in the preseason game when every other starter was out after the first series.
Yeah, it's tough, man. On one end, I kind of can see, because we can't just. And this is just last week. We kind of overreacted a little bit about the offensive line, but like you even mentioned that, like, guys like JPJ were in there with Meredith. They were playing with guys that most likely are not going to be playing this year on the offensive line. Guys, they're playing well into did they play into the third quarter? They played well into the third quarter. At least that first half, it felt like.
That first half, for sure. I think third. I don't remember when Will Putnam got in there. At some point, Will Putnam got in there. I don't remember exactly when, though.
Yeah, and then like there were moments where JPJ, there was a stunt happening, and I know you were like going in on Thayer Munford and his performance that game.
Trash.
And guess who was the guard next to Thayer Munford, and it was JPJ. And there was some miscommunication that was happening. So that, I think, part of the struggle of Thayer Munford was also affecting a guy like JPJ, where communication is huge, right?
Yeah. But not to cut you off. And it's not always communication. Sometimes it's just you said about it early, right? Like, about guys playing with each other. Christian Wilkins he's going out of his mind right now. He's like, bro, I was trying to tell. No, but it's just. It's like, like understanding the strength and weaknesses of the guys next to you, right? Like there's a play where I think they were running. It was a zone run to the left, and like in this particular play, Thayer has to make a reach block, so he has to get to the guy in the gap over, but he was not fast enough to get there. So with JPJ being right there, he has to help him and hold that guy so Thayer can get there and make that block. But if he had been playing with Thayer, he would understand, hey, you know what? I gotta stay here a little bit longer because Thayer has to get here. Thayer plays like he got Timberlands on, right? He's slow as hell. So like he has to help that guy there. And he didn't do it, and Thayer got beat to the spot, and there was a tackle in the backfield. So, as a result of that. So, but if he had understood, the guy next to him, then he would have been able to better execute on that play. But when you're moving these guys around, like, they can't get comfortable with each other. It's hard. And the fact that, like, another thing we talked about we'll get into that later, but, just the whole tackling thing. That's another thing where it's like, some teams they tackle live. Detroit, they talk about tackling live. Dan Campbell said, hey, well, we tackle here because that's a fundamental part of the game. The Raiders, they don't do that. So that's why tackling was so bad week 1. So hopefully we can get that together by the regular season. But if we're not doing any tackling at all, like, bro, like, like, that's stuff you have to work on. So like,
I will say though, I think probably the other side to it is that when it comes to the tackling issue is that Pete Carroll, he's going to be playing these guys in these preseason games. And
that's part of the reason too, yeah.
Yeah, so then I think he's just going to use preseason to, like fine-tune their tackling pretty much.
I agree.
So I think that's what he's going to do. Now, if he didn't do that, then we could be like, this doesn't look too good, you know what I mean? And they're going to wait till like the regular season to finally figure out how to tackle, which I be honest with you, that's an NFL problem. Just because with the rule changes and the player, the CBA, what they agreed on and stuff like that. There's not a lot of tackling done in the offseason and stuff like that. And I think there's only a certain amount of days where they can tackle too as well, right? There's only a certain amount of time or days. Like,
there's only a certain amount of padded practices, so that obviously you're only really on tackling via in your padded practices. And tackling is a problem throughout the league. Part of the reason is because of how the CBA is and how they're limiting. But there is a like Seattle's not talking about tackling, right? They were like on Friday morning. The podcasters and beat writers and coaching staff for Seattle was like, man, we really need to clean up that tackling. Like, that wasn't really an issue for them. I don't know how they're running their practice over there, but I will say that if you're hoping that, a game's worth of tackling in the preseason is going to make up for, this live sessions during training camp. Pete Carroll knows more than me. He's been doing it for a long time. So, if this is how he's been doing it, he's coached some of the best defenses ever. If this is something that's worked for him in the past, hey, hats off to him. I'll let him do his thing. But I just think that, tackling is such a fundamental part of the game that you want to work on it, and you want to be able to work on it in a controlled environment where you control the scenarios. And in the preseason, like, it's kind of out of your hands at that point. And then you only have those 3 preseason games to do it. So that also limits your time even more so. So a few live sessions a week, I think that's more than enough to, hey, where you're maintaining the balance between player safety as well as working on the most important aspect of playing defensive football, which is tackling the ball carrier.
Yeah, and real quick, man, shout out to Chewy's NFL News and Podcast, man, my guy, man. Appreciate you coming through. If you guys haven't already, make sure to head over to my guy and hit that subscribe button, man. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Go ahead and support my guy. And he says, too early to judge Pete and Genty Fire Show, my guy. Hey, man, appreciate you coming through. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely too early, but Genty especially, I agree 100%. Like, I'm gonna give him
both of them
plenty of time, and and Pete Carroll. I'm not throwing a book at any of these players, or I'm not throwing a book at Pete or Genty. I'm just concerned. So for my overreaction takes, they haven't really changed so much into more so like I'm concerned.
Yeah,
like I'm concerned that like the backups looked better than our starters. Yeah. Last game, I'm a little concerned. I'm concerned that the defensive line didn't really get any pressure. And I'm concerned that and also I want to say this too. It's not like, because a lot of people are like, oh man, people are like overreacting after the first game, saying that the Raiders season is down to like it's doom and gloom. But the reality is that like we've been talking about the team where like, hey, 2025 is not going to be the season for the Raiders. If we're being honest,
we've been talking about that. Other people ain't talking like that.
Yeah,
we've been saying that, and Pete Carroll didn't say that either. Pete Carroll said 10 wins. is what he expects. I think that's what he said, something to that effect.
And I'll be happy with that. But realistically, looking at the team and the depth on the team, and I'm like, just looking at the competition, I'm looking at it like if they have another good offseason, good draft, next offseason, then I could look at 2026 and be like, okay, now the Raiders can be a possible contender to make the playoffs. But I just couldn't see it this season. And then it's just a matter of how they would get there. And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, just hearing a lot of what we've been hearing out of training camp, it's been all offense. But lately, you know, just to talk about recently about the training camp and just get into that, because I know we kind of were talking about the offensive line and JPJ. Defense been responding. They've been physical from what we heard from last training camp practice they had. Devin White had a couple of interceptions today. Your boy, yeah, he got some snaps with the ones.
He damn near had a pick in the game too. He broke on the pass nicely. He just didn't come down with it, but yeah, he's been all right.
Is he only going to be an outside corner? Is that the only? Are they only going to look at him at outside corner because he took some snaps away from Darian Porter, I believe.
Yeah. So, you know, that's interesting because they have him listed at nickel. I think on the depth chart, I think they have him like the third listed nickel on the depth chart, if I recall correctly. I think he's behind Darnay. Is he behind the kid Greedy too? I think he's behind Greedy too on the depth chart. But you know, he's been, or is it JP Scott or JT Scott? But neither here nor there. But I think he's built like an outside corner. He's a long rangy guy. I think he runs like a 4.3 too, if I recall correctly. Baltimore drafted him in the 5th round. So like that's an organization we trust with their ability to identify talent. So he's a guy that, you know, he's been making some noise. I initially didn't know if he'd make the team. From what I've been hearing and from what I saw in that preseason game, I think he can make this team. I think he can make this team.
What? Incognito also tried to cut. Oh, that's wild.
Oh yeah, he did. When he went crazy. That's when he went crazy. I think that's like, bro. Ironically, that was after he was done with the Dolphins, but before he came to us.
Damn. Yeah. Ned.
He went crazy in the funeral home. Crazy in the funeral home. You have to call the police on him, I want to say.
That's crazy. Up in Smoke says, Severe, did you watch the film? The run scheme was extra vanilla, inside and outside zone, and it was the first game. You don't think the staff will shore up those mishaps?
But that's what I'm saying. Nothing I'm saying has anything to do with the scheme. Like there was no pin and pull. Like there's no pulling at all in the scheme, right? But what I'm talking about is just the fundamentals of what people were doing. That's why I stress. Like I'm not looking at the play calls. I'm not looking at the result of the play. I'm looking at how guys executed individually on the play, and the execution was poor. Communication was bad. They didn't call out blitz. They missed passing off stunts. Like that stuff. That's just basic fundamental football. Can that stuff be cleaned up? Yes. But like I said, I'm not looking at the result of the play. Oh, did we get 10, 15 yards? I'm looking at how guys individually performed. And it was not a good performance.
Let's see here. Let's see, I'm panicking. 3 carries.
But I'm not panicking though. But it is, like I said, it is concerning.
Hold on. Shout out to my guy Chewy's again with the super chat. Appreciate you supporting the show. He says, still so many holes to fill. Still running back in round 1 is wild. Yeah. So this is the logic that they went with. This is the logic of Spytech. Spytech's logic was like, we have so many holes, we need talent, and the best talent on the board was Genty.
Yes.
Now, the thing is that Genty better, like the bet is Genty is gonna be that talent that is gonna be an elite talent. If he's not that, then it's like, damn. You know what I mean? You took a running back at 6, and he's not even, the best running back to come out that draft, or not even just that. He's not the man. I said this the other day. The biggest fear right now, one of the biggest fears for Raider Nation, and this is coming from Raider PTSD. You know what I mean? My Raider PTSD is for him to be a bust out of one of the greatest running back draft that we've seen in recent memory. That'd be like, whew. That right there, is that enough for you to be like, Spy Tech, you can exit stage left. Like, you go that way and we don't want to ever see. You think that would be enough for him to just get him out the building, or you're gonna give him some grace?
No, I'll give him some grace. If this entire draft class is bad, then still give him time, but because
no, but
like
what I'm saying is, if Genty and I'm gonna knock on what I don't want this to be good, but let's say if Genty's a bust,
yeah,
and like everybody else, and we mentioned earlier in the show, one of the bright spots, the rookies that kind of stood out over the weekend was your boy Travion Henderson, who went in the second round.
Yeah.
So to see that, and then everybody kind of put the Genty stats on blast, which I feel like was out of pocket. Like, calm down. Like,
yeah.
But if he's a bust in a draft where like literally there's great running backs coming out left and right. I mean, with Travion Henderson, if Judkins could get past whatever he's going on with the Browns, obviously Omari Hampton. There's some other guys that I like. There's that Colts running back. He plays for the Colts. He's backing up Jonathan Taylor, but I like him too. Oh man, I'm forgetting his name.
Where'd he go to? What school did he go to? This dude from not Washington State.
No, he's a big running back too. Fast, like shifty too.
Dude from K-State? I can't remember his name. Kansas State running back. Dang, what's my guy's name? I can't remember his name. The dude from K-State, I think.
Colts chart. Let's see if the chat will get it. I know the chat's always.
Damn, dude from K-State. I want to say it's not Harvey. It's not Rashard Smith. Not. I liked him. Not the dude from UCF either. No, that was RJ Harvey. What's my guy's name? Dang, I know who you're talking about. I can see him in my mind. I want to see play for K-State.
DJ Giddens. DJ
Giddens. Yeah, play for K-State. Kansas State.
DJ Giddens. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
DJ Giddens, and there's a few other guys that I'm forgetting. Outside of like I mentioned Judkins, but then there's the Tennessee running back that I like that came out. He could be. Yeah,
he went to Cleveland too. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's a few players that can ball out. What I'm trying to say is that like if Genty is like the worst one, or even not just worse, just straight up bust.
Yeah. You
don't think Spy Tech is not gonna? Can he survive that?
He can survive. Like it depends on what the rest of the draft, what he does, what the rest of the draft class does. Like, but now it's like it's getting tougher and tougher because you think about Jack Besh. Obviously, he's been kind of struggling a little bit in training camp. He did not flash at all during the game, but he still has time, and he is not the greatest athlete. So it's going to take some time for him to adjust to the league because he's going to have to find a way to win in other ways, which I think he can. He figured out a way to do it in the SEC, and then he went to TCU, figured out a way to do it there. So I think he can adjust. I think it's just going to take some time for him to adjust. Dante Thornton, I think we've all been fairly impressed with him. Darren Porter, we've all been fairly impressed with him. So he can land this plane. But, but what I was saying is that I thought that the best value was we're gonna go running back later on, double up on that thing if you can. But I thought I said all along, I thought Travion in the second round is better value than Genty in the first. And I also said that like even though Genty was my RB1, or Marion Hampton was my RB2, there was like very little space between the three of them. It's like damn near the same grade in all three of them. So in that particular instance, I'd rather have Travion in round 2 than Genty in round 1, especially in the draft this deep with running back. So like we could have been a team that had Tetaroa at 6 and still had Travion in round 2. If you walk away with that haul, like that instantly transforms the skill positions on your team. You got a legit number 1 receiver for sure, and then you got a legit number 1 running back. But obviously, we went in a different direction. And in terms of talent, I'm not mad at Genty, as a player or as a prospect. I just don't believe in drafting running backs in the first round. I don't believe if you think you have issues with your running game that you draft a running back, because we said this pre-draft, I said this post-draft, that running backs don't determine the floor of your running game. They determine the ceiling. Your offensive line determines the floor of your running game. We pointed to Saquon Barkley to say, look what Saquon did in New York those last few years, and then look what he did his first year with Philadelphia, who had one of the better offensive lines in the league. So if we thought we had issues on the line, then that's where the issues should have been addressed. But we didn't do that, and we took Genty in the first round, and it's not Genty's fault that he's kind of put into a tough situation at this point, and he's going to be judged. We've already been saying it. He's going to be judged unfairly because, as I said, one of the runs, could he have done more? Yes. The first run, there was an opportunity for a cutback. There's also, if he was a more explosive player, there was a lane there for him to get to. He didn't get to it. The other 2 runs, the second one, for damn sure nothing he can do. And the third one, it was like only like the elite of the elite was going to be able to make anything out of that play. So, if he had better blocking, he would be able to do more, but he didn't. So now all people see is 3 carries, -1 yards. And it's not fair to judge him based off of that.
Yeah. Thrash says, I've been in the dark with the team. You guys are pressing me. You know what? Because we're kind of focusing on the things that we feel like, man, this is probably going to be an issue that can possibly go into the season. Now, that being said, I guess we could focus on the things that we like. I think the offense is going to be good. I think the offense is going to be solid. It's just the offensive line is kind of affecting my, like, how good it can be. Because if there's going to be like that beginning portion of the season where they got to figure out like who that starting 5 is, then the starting 5 has to start playing with. They're going to have to like be all in the same field and play a lot of snaps with each other, and to have that chemistry, that's going to take a little bit of time. That being said, Chip Kelly kind of at offensive coordinator I've said it all the time, he's the X factor. Like, he's the one that I'm like, the great players are going to be great. Like, Brock is going to be great.
Oh, it's going to be a monster. Michael Mayer's going to be great.
Yeah, Brock is gonna be great no matter what. But what a good offensive coordinator is gonna do, he's gonna make the role players even better. Like the role players are gonna be like guys like Mike. You said Michael Mayer, maybe Dante Thornton, Trey Tucker. You know what I mean? Like Jacoby Myers and Brock, they're gonna get theirs. Yeah. Like, they've gotten theirs based off a lot of like, a lot of different reasons why they couldn't even got theirs. But I'm just saying, like, in this situation, where you got a good offensive coordinator, I feel like guys like, the Dante Thorntons and, we mentioned the Michael Mayers and things like that. Those are the guys that like I could see balling out in this offense. So it's like Chip Kelly kind of gives me like the idea of like this offense could be better than what we've seen in the last few years. The defense, I said it earlier. I'm concerned about the defense overall, especially like if you want to talk about it. It might get better as the season goes on because they got a lot of moving parts. They got a lot of young players. And they're gonna have to figure out who's gonna step up to begin the season. But like right off the get, teams are gonna test them. Quarterback, especially good quarterbacks, are gonna test the because they're gonna have a rookie starting. Darian Porter's a rookie. Eric Stokes, he's going to have to stay healthy because that's been his issue throughout his career. And it's not even just them. The worst part of the secondary is probably our nickel situation. I think teams are going to test that right off the bat.
Yeah, definitely.
you know, because we're gonna Jeremy Chin, like that's gonna be our nickel corner. Like, come on, man. Like, he's a safety, right? He's a guy that like you want to do it like just randomly based off a call that you made on defense. If you're gonna have him be the literally like every down nickel corner whenever a team has something, I don't know. It just feels like there's a lot of question marks on defense compared to the offense.
Yeah. I mean, it is because I mean, there's not one unit that you have a lot of faith in, right? Like before the whole Christian Wilkins thing, before we saw what Kuntz looked like in the preseason, where it kind of looked like he lost a step. Well, I think we were like, hey, you know what? We know the defensive line is going to be like good, but now it's like, I don't know anymore. Like, I don't know anymore, right? Like, can Kuntz be that guy that we want him to be? And he still has time, and you know, it could be a situation. It's his first real action since the knee injury, so it could be a more mental thing than a physical thing with him. But you know, you still have those concerns, right? Obviously, defensive tackle. Definitely a concern. You know, Christian Wilkins gone. Lucky for two hurt. You know, now we're putting a lot of hopes on Jonah Lualu and then Booker, who we just got, right? He's a guy that just literally like his first time with the Raiders was preseason. So like we're depending on a lot of new faces and young faces at that unit. Obviously, we already talked about the concerns with linebacker, and you talked about the concerns in the secondary as well, especially at that nickel position where, you know, we're going to be doing a lot of big nickel with Jeremy Chin as that player in the slot. And we just brought in Terrell Edmonds to possibly man the other safety spot when Jeremy Chin slides down there. But if not, it's going to be Chris Smith. So, you know, there's question marks all over this defense. And so if we have a top defense, I think you said it before, you have a top defense, bro, Patrick Graham, he needs a head coaching job. He needs a head coaching job.
Oh, yeah, facts. Facts, 100%. So just to be on the positive side, just keep it real with y'all. We got Chip Kelly is going to be the big X factor. I feel like him at offensive coordinator in the NFL, where he will be the most comfortable at. If he was head coach, then I'll have questions. I don't have those questions. Him at our offensive coordinator. He just won a national championship with Ohio State. Like I said, a good offensive coordinator is going to make role players better. Guys like, you know, Michael Mayer. You know, guys like Trey Tucker, Dante Thornton, those guys are gonna start making plays. You know the main guys are gonna get theirs. You know the Jacoby Myers are gonna get theirs. You know the Brock Bowers are gonna get theirs no matter what. But the role players are gonna stand out because of a guy like Chip Kelly, like you would hope. So that's a big positive. And even Pete Carroll the other day, like he said, it was super vanilla. So I can believe that. I can buy into that. I can believe that, oh, okay, yeah, obviously they're not going to show everything in preseason. So it's going to be exciting to see what the offense looks like because, you know, you hear players talk about the offense, and what they say about Chip Kelly is that, like, man, like he finds creative ways to make big plays. Yeah. You know, Jacoby Myers says that, yeah, we're definitely going to be running the ball. But then there's going to be a lot of big plays. Yeah. And that's, you know, this is coming from the players talking about what type of offense they're going to be in. So that's the one thing I'm excited about is Chip Kelly's offense. Just to keep it positive. My guy Jack Kenna in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through. Man, appreciate you, my guy. But man, shout out to Raider Smoke, man. My guy, he said he's sick. Sick as a dog. We got to show some love, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. Hope you get well soon, man. Appreciate you coming through. Let's see.
Better, man. Feel better. It means you got to be off the course for a little while, man. I know you're hurting.
Man, nah, he's gonna pull an MJ. Pull an MJ. Got the flu game. He's gonna have a flu game. What do you see? We don't. Let's see. Yeah, Ken. Hey, he's all good, man. I just was texting him the other day. He's all good.
Talking about Ray?
You talking about Ray?
Yeah, Ray, man. Ray sent me a whole bunch of. We was talking about the offensive line on IG. He sent me a whole bunch. I got to go through all the clips. He was sending me like a whole bunch of clips, looking at Meredith and just breaking it down. He likes it. He likes the move. You know, he thinks Meredith would do well there. His strengths fit better at the center position.
No, he's been a big Meredith guy since he came onto the scene. Like, he's been calling Meredith for a minute. So
Yeah, I like Meredith last year at guard, man. Like 805 the same way. That was 805's guy. Like he hated Cody Whitehair, but he loved Jordan Meredith. But it was at guard. It was at guard.
Yeah.
Like you said, center is a different world.
Right. And this coaching staff, they feel like he's too small to play guard. They want him at center. Yeah. So we'll see, man. Hey, at the end of the day, man, like I'm all into I'm all into putting the best 5 out there. So that's all that matters. Let's see, man. Let's see where we going. Let's see how many wins we thinking. Oh, y'all clowning. Patrick Graham would have been hired a long time ago if he had his defense in the top 10. Yeah, I mean, the only time where he had his defense ranked in the top 10 was what? That was it that year that McDaniels got fired?
No, he didn't even have a top 10 defense that year. We were like number 1 down the stretch, but the beginning of the year it was a struggle. So I don't know if he's last time he had a top 10. Oh, man, I think since the Dolphins, I want to say. I think the Dolphins. Or no, I think he did it with the Giants.
No, I'm talking about with the Raiders. Were the Raiders? I think they were top 10, maybe the second half of that season.
They were number 1 the second half of that season.
But overall, though, were they in the top 10?
Oh, did they finish the year like as the top 10 for the complete year? I don't believe they finished the year as like if you combine both halves. I don't think they were top 10 for both halves. But I could be wrong on that because he only has 2 top 10 finishes as a D coordinator, if I recall correctly, when I was looking at it.
Yeah.
So I was getting into it with somebody about that who said that he can't be a head coach unless he gets a top 5 finish, which I don't think he has. I think he has like the top highest he's been ranked was 6th as a D coordinator.
Yeah. So let's just get into man. Let's get into it, man. It's that time, man. It's that time, man. It's flag on the play. This is where we get into
Personal foul.
Things that we have issues about, whether it's football, anything that's going on, or just anything just generally happen in the news. And this week, I think we the first flag I guess we can get into is they just ranked, and this is not like a national ranking. I think they just put in I think ratings around the online ratings and like the Google ratings, and they're rating the stadiums around the NFL. And number one stadium that was rated was Green Bay, which I've never been, so I can't really judge it. But a lot of people always talk about Green Bay, and I think there's I think there's a waiting list to even get tickets to Green Bay. I believe it's one of those classic stadiums.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that being said, the reason why it's a flag on the play is, man, they got Allegiant Stadium number 24, the 24th ranked stadium. Go ahead and pull this up here so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Boom. Let's go ahead and share the stadium right here. Look, boom. So you see they got like Lambeau Field. Obviously, they got a number 1, but 24th. They got Allegiant Stadium, and I'm looking at these stadiums. I'm like, man, I heard the Cowboys Stadium was pretty good. I've never been there, but I've heard a lot of good things about the Cowboys Stadium. Do want to go to Seattle and check that out, but Allegiant, man, I'm not gonna lie, man. I feel like it should be definitely a lot higher than number 24, because I've been there and that shit is top notch. It makes you feel like no matter where you're sitting, it feels like it's super low, like. Yeah, it's the way they designed it was pretty good, man. It's a beautiful stadium. Great experience if you've never went. Definitely expensive though, I'll say that. But I'll say flag on a play on this list, man. Fan reviews, man, they got this all the way wrong. I mean, do you agree with this, man? Like, I know I kind of sent this to you, and I'm like, when I seen this, I was like, man, nah, there's no way like Allegiant Stadium should be number 24 in the NFL.
Nah, man, it's not 24 at all. Like I said, this is like an aggregate of people's like ratings or reviews on Google, Yelp, and TripAdvisor, So you got to think about it. A lot of this probably has to do with the cost because the Raiders, they're a very, very expensive ticket. Also, the parking situation is like probably bad. So a lot of people probably complain about that. Just having to get there, it probably gives them a bad taste in their mouth. And then I think the third and the most important factor is look at the teams that are at the top. These are teams that have like really good home field advantages. So basically, that means a lot of their own fans are the people that are giving them the ratings. It's not like, opposing teams coming in there and ranking the stadium. So it's probably people who don't like the Raiders, aren't fans of the Raiders. They were just there, and therefore they'll give them bad scores just because.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of different. People put in the scores for a lot of different reasons, like you said. And it could be possibly like they felt like they paid too much or whatever the case may be. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Allegiant Stadium, man, is top notch, man. And it's like modern. It's like, like if you compare Allegiant to like, for example, what's another new stadium? SoFi. SoFi. I'm like, man, Allegiant's better.
Allegiant's better. Yeah, Allegiant's better.
It's just better. Like it makes you forget. Like, and I think they spent more to build SoFi than they did to build Allegiant, and Allegiant's like way better.
Yeah, but you think about the difference between real estate in California, real estate in Los Angeles, and real estate in Nevada.
That's true. Yeah, fans just hating. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's right. Basically what it is. Because the only stadium I would probably put over ours is the Cowboy Stadium, and I've never been there, but I just heard that it's just like a work of art for football. Like, it's just the most beautiful thing. Like, if you're a football fan, it's like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. And in Texas, they take football extreme. Like, there's some Texas stadiums are better than some of the pro stadiums we see on here. It's high school stadiums rather are better than some of the pro teams we have on here. So they take football serious as heck down there. So I'm not mad at Dallas being number one. And they spent more on that stadium too, and it's in Texas where real estate is cheap, so I know that thing is crazy. But outside of that one, there's not a stadium that I've been to that I would say I will put over the Raiders. Like the Superdome, definitely not. Where else? SoFi. Well, SoFi's not, but I wouldn't put SoFi over it.
I definitely want to check out the Cowboys Stadium and the Colts. Raiders play the Colts this year. Definitely want to check that out too as well. I heard this Colts Stadium is nice too.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's better than Allegiant though, man. That's But I you know what? If I go to the game, man, I'll probably tell you. I'll just check it out and let you know once I.
You're going to Tennessee, ain't you? No. Are you doing Tennessee?
Tennessee's that game's in Vegas.
Oh, game's Vegas. Oh, okay.
Game's in Vegas. But I heard when people talk about Tennessee, they just have a good time with the extracurricular activities, like just.
Tennessee's it's supposed to be a fun city.
It's like it's a good road game to go, road city to go to. Yeah, man. Like outside of that, they had Pittsburgh number 3.
Bro, come on now. That's what I'm saying. It's teams. It's like teams with real good home field advantages that are. That's why it's winning. That's what.
So they're basing it off like the energy in the stadium, and I know someone in the chat also mentioned that too. It's like, it's the fact that like, Vegas doesn't have that home field advantage. Because imagine if like the Raiders crowd in Vegas was like the Oakland and LA crowds. Yeah.
But you know what another factor is though? It's also like and I don't want to like crap on these cities, but like most of these cities is trash. Outside of like Atlanta, like and New Orleans, like most of the other cities are trash. It's like by comparison, like the funniest thing you probably did there was go to the game. So like if you go to Green Bay, like you're like, man, this is the funnest I've had this entire time. I'm gonna give you 5 stars. But if you go to a game in Vegas, like bro, I was at the casino, I was winning money, I went to a 5-star restaurant. Like it's not like it's not going to, by comparison to everything else you experienced, it's not gonna like differentiate it as much from those other things. So, that's naturally going to bring the score down lower, but you go to Seattle, bro, it's raining all the time. Like, it's gloomy. Ain't really, like, what you going to do? Go to Starbucks? Ain't really a whole lot to do out there, maybe visit, some rock and roll museums, see where Kurt Cobain or Jimi Hendrix was at. But other than that, you're going to the game and you're going to have a great time at the game because they have a great home field advantage. So it's going to be extra fun. So you're going to give it high ratings. But you go to Vegas, bro, it's so much stuff to do. It's an adult playground.
Yeah. But that's why I'm surprised. I'm surprised that it's slow. But, that's why we called it a flag this week. There's definitely other honorable mentions, but we got another flag, Severe, if you want to introduce the second flag of the week.
Yes. So, for any basketball fans, we know that the Oklahoma City Thunder, my favorite player, SGA, they took home the NBA championship this year. But there is a guy on that team. He earned himself another ring, and that is Alex Caruso, former Laker, one of the better six men in the league, And he recently was married. And one of the young superstars on that team is Chet Holmgren. Speaking of Seattle, I want to say he's from the Seattle area, and he showed up to the wedding in a very interesting outfit.
Man, what was he thinking, man?
Bro.
Hey, man, you think he was trying to be funny with this fit, man? This is crazy. To a wedding?
Bro, I hope so. So I think you sent this to me, and you said people asked him to leave or he got kicked out because people thought he was a pimp.
Yeah, that's wild, man. And the thing is too, like, if you're Caruso, would you be mad when you see this, or would you laugh?
Probably laugh, because
but I'm like this dude came to your wedding looking like he need to get kicked out.
If he was in the wedding, then you probably mad. But if he just showed up as a guest and you should dressed like that, at least it was a suit. You probably laughing, clowning, because you're gonna have this picture like forever. Like, this picture is going to, like, you're gonna frame this thing, and this thing is gonna be something you never forget. Like, they go like, man, remember that time you showed up to my wedding in that all white suit? Like, that's crazy work. That is crazy work. And the fact that people asked him to leave because they thought he was a pimp, that is even crazier. That is even crazier.
That's wild, man. And the thing is too that they're not gonna let this go. The internet's not gonna let this go. The probably his teammates is not gonna let this go. Like, you remember that time? Man, you wore that nasty ass fit.
Never gonna let this go, bro. That's gonna be a memory forever, bro. A memory forever.
That's quite crazy, man. Flag on a play on Chet Holmgren for showing up to a wedding looking like, man, he looking crazy. I'm not gonna lie, man. Crazy. He's looking wild, man. But yeah, you said he got kicked out immediately? I didn't even.
Oh, no. I don't know if he got kicked out immediately, but he said he's escorted out. He's escorted out. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's hilarious. Man,
it's even worse that, like, you don't think, because Chet is like legit 7 feet tall. So, like, you don't think, like, you're at a basketball player's wedding, you don't think that this 7 foot dude is like a basketball player too? Like, this dude, obviously this guy's a pimp. Like, get him out. Like, nobody could identify the guy that was just drafted. I think it was number 2 overall last year, or the year before last, rather. Like, nobody can remember that.
That's that's wild, man. Y'all in the chat going crazy right now, man. But if you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through. Yeah, man. Chet out here looking crazy, man. Yeah,
crazy.
Imagine if he was like actually one of the
groomsmen,
like one of the groomsmen, like had a role and he showed up like that. Yeah, man. Like, you fired.
I'll be pissed.
You're fired. You fired immediately. Like, you gonna show up to my wedding looking like a crackhead. Oh man, that's wild, man. That's
man.
Wild.
He looked like he needed one of those hats. He needed like a hat with it too, like the Hollywood Severe hat, but like
fedora, like a fedora.
The fedora, for sure.
That's wild.
Like,
that's wild,
big
man.
ass feather in it.
Man, but we're not done, man. We got notable quotables. This is where we play quotes that we find interesting, that we want to have a conversation about. Let's go ahead and if you want to give the intro to the first notable quotable, Severe.
So the first notable quotable, I know we spoke a little bit about Jamal Adams earlier. JT the Brick, who's a guy that's worked for the Raider organization for a long time. He talked about Jamal Adams, kind of talked about his journey to get to the Raiders, as well as a potential role that he can fill that the Raiders have been lacking for quite some time.
Jamal Adams is a very interesting player to me because finally I have a player that I can talk about on the shows who's number one pissed off. Seattle despises him, the fans up there. That's why he was chirping so much. Secondly, he started sending videos to Pete Carroll to say, look over here, I'm healthy. Please give me a chance. He asked for a chance and Pete gave it to him. He is going to have to be all over the field. And would you admit, he's got to guard Travis Kelce? I mean, do you have a better player that you can recall in a decade who can line up over Travis Kelce and at least put his forearm under his chin the way that George Atkinson would do that to Russ Francis? Do we feel like we have a guy? I don't have the confidence in, Tommy Eichenberg to do that yet. I don't know how much I have in Jermaine Pratt, who's a good player, to do it. But Jamal Adams, assuming he makes this team, can line up as a hybrid linebacker with safety skills. Now, I don't think his ball skills are great anymore, especially deep ball skills. I don't think that's his strength. His strength is attacking the line of scrimmage, stopping the run, hitting a tight end, getting a tight end off.
Man, I don't know about guarding Travis Kelce. I don't think that's his forte. I think coverage is for sure not a strong point of Jamal Adams' game. But when you put him at linebacker, you put him closer in line of scrimmage, you'll be able to basically take advantage of his biggest strengths, and that's his ability to tackle, his instincts, his ability to get after the quarterback, blitz. Man, I like it. But if you're asking him to cover Travis Kelce or tight ends and stuff like that, I don't think that would be a good role for him. Maybe a running back out the backfield, maybe that's fine. But an actual good receiving tight end, no. And Kelce, he's past his prime, but replace Kelce with another tight end. You know what I mean? Another talented tight end. There's guys around the league. I wouldn't want Adams to go one-on-one with a good tight end. That being said, I like what I seen that first preseason game. I'm not gonna lie, he was the best linebacker from what I can see. That was out there. He had a good game, but there's still some time to figure out. I think from the outside, from when I first heard that Jamal Adams was gonna play that linebacker spot, I didn't envision him to start. And I still kind of don't. Just because of the health and that I don't know about his size. I don't know if he's going to hold up. But I like him in certain specific packages. You give him a role on his defense. I could see that. Patrick Graham, he created a role for players like that. I remember with the Giants, was it Peppers?
Jabril Peppers, yeah.
Jabril Peppers, maybe he could do the same thing with a Jamal Adams. I don't know. I don't. Can you? I know we talked about this earlier, but can you really see him be a starter on his defense, with his size?
I can envision him being a starter. I definitely, especially in sub packages. I can see him
starting at linebacker.
Yeah, I can see him being a starter, especially sub packages. Let's say, because I know already we've been kind of going with Jeremy Chin as the big nickel, and playing in the slot. But if you're thinking about, maybe you don't know if the team is in a run look or a pass look, you can keep a guy like Jamal Adams out there, even though he's technically at linebacker. Instead of putting Chin in the slot, you put him in the slot, and I think that's one way for him to start. Or he can just outright take Devin White's spot. we don't want to make too many judgments and too many assessment or base too many of our assessments on this very first preseason game. But Jamal Adams was by far the best player we had on defense. And if he continues that, and if he's showing that in practice, and he does that continually in these other preseason games, I definitely can see him, snatching the starting spot from Devin White. Especially like Devin White's tackling woes is something that's been an issue for him his entire career, and they reared their ugly heads this week 1 game. So that stuff like that'll leave a little bit of space for Jamal Adams to push him out of the way and find himself in the starting lineup, as well as his relationship and trust with Pete Carroll, who was willing to take a chance on him. I think Landon Roberts is basically a lock for one of those linebacker spots, but the other one, I think it's an open competition.
Yeah, man, and I was just thinking about like some of the guys that kind of like balled out, like watching the game over again. Like Dylan Lobby was a guy that kind of stood out. I'm like, oh, okay, he's over here making plays that we didn't see him do last year, even in the preseason, especially with the type of like offseason that we heard that he had and the type of role that he was projected possibly to have in OTAs and training camp. Feel like he stood out a little bit. We didn't talk about Laki Tasi. He kind of flashed a little bit for a guy that never played football and like just was out there just, I don't want to say winging it, but like just figuring it out. But the reason why I don't really want to talk about guys like that, and I know because they're really not going to be ready to play right now. Those are guys that they're going to make a bet to play maybe, next year, possibly couple years, couple seasons. I mean, this is a guy that's never played football. Like, how long would you think it's going to take for him to be ready to be a contributor or compete for a starting spot? Would you think it would take a year, 2 years? That never played football. He's never played.
Yeah.
Even though he's a massive human being. Like, he's a freak of nature.
That's the thing. If he was playing defensive tackle, like we originally envisioned him playing, I think he could definitely. I think he could see some if we needed him, absolutely needed him to. I think he can see limited snaps this year if we needed him to, and not to be like a high level contributor, not to be a guy that we depend on. I think he would be able to see limited snaps this year, and I think he could see an expanded role after a full year playing offensive line. As we already said, there's technique and everything that goes into both of them, but when you play offensive line, there's much more of a situation where the guy, what's happening around you matters a lot, and you're having to kind of read the guy next to you and kind of see so that's a more reactionary position. And when you're in a reactionary position, that takes more knowledge and a little bit of a deeper foundation and more experience to be able to recognize what people are doing. When you're on the attack, there's a little bit more freedom for you to kind of freelance a little bit, and you be able to use your physical abilities to overwhelm the person in front of you. When you're in a reactionary position, that pass blocking is, maybe in a run blocking is a little bit different. Maybe goal line packages and something you can see, but when you're in a pass set, like you're reacting to the person in front of you, and that takes a lot. So he wouldn't be able to have any meaningful role on the offensive line. But if we were to do defensive line, he would be able to see meaningful stats this year, in my opinion.
I mean, but you mentioned it though, like maybe they create a role for him, like in goal line situations where he can come in as an extra tackle or a fullback, or I mean, I don't even want to say fullback, but that would be huge.
Playing rugby. Oh, he can definitely. I think he can definitely play.
I'm just saying, like, he would be huge though at fullback. He'll
be massive at fullback.
You know what I'm saying? But extra tackle, I can see that. Extra tackle, obvious, like running situation, goal line, or short yardage situation.
I mean, you look at the Chargers. What they do with Matlock. Matlock is probably, I don't know. I don't think he's like 340, but he's like in the 300s.
Yeah,
as a fullback.
Is he 6'6" though? Dude,
No,
6'6".
I doubt it'd be that. I doubt it'd be that tall. But you know, hey,
Isn't Like Itachi like 6'6"?
he at least
He's
6'5",
huge, bro.
6'6". He's a massive human being, like 350.
Yeah, bro.
350. But
How
like,
big
you know,
was, like what's his name was kind of like he was a man, offensive guard. He was a left guard. He ended up going to the Jets. Dude was a monster back in 2016.
Oh, we're talking about Kelechi?
Kelechi Assembly. He was huge. He was like 6'4", 6'5".
He was crazy big. Yeah, he was crazy big. He had some long arms. He had some like crazy gigantic hands too, from what I recall. Like I think like they were talking about like how crazy big his hands were.
Like if Tazi if he could be that, if he could be Kelechi Assembly, man, like that'd be crazy. But I don't think he's gonna be able to be ready to contribute this season. And I'm not gonna lie, next season, I don't even know, bro. Like that's one of those like
on the line, it's gonna be tough.
It's kind of one of those like, you know, like, hey, let's see what happens, because it doesn't really hurt the Raiders, because I don't think he counts against the roster.
Not this year, no.
But if he figures it out within 1 year, a guy that's never played football ever, and the thing is too, and I think you can agree to this, is like the only way, to be honest with you, that you can get better is with experience. Yes. So the Raiders have to feel comfortable enough to put him out there, but also understand that it's going to come with growing pains.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we'll see, man. It's a nice little possible project, and it's not going to count against the roster, so it's a good situation for the Raiders. That being said, we got another notable quotable. Severe, man, what's the next quote?
So the next quote, it's a little bit of a long, it's more of a soliloquy than a quote, but this comes from Pete Carroll. We talked about early in the offseason how Pete Carroll, he was teaching a class at SC, and he was asked a question about how his leadership style differentiates from some of the other great coaches of all time, and he kind of really went in depth into like his process. And I think it's really interesting, and maybe give us a little bit of insight on who he is at a deeper level.
All right, let me go ahead and play this.
Yes.
I was wondering if you could compare and contrast sort of your philosophy and style of coaching with the other most successful coaches like Belichick, we've talked about.
Good. Yeah, that's really good.
Other sports like Popovich, Phil Jackson, etc.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned a whole array of guys, and they're all different, okay? Let's go to Belichick, okay? Okay, let's just start off with this one. That back in the day, you can picture what it's like when an army brings in a bunch of grunts for the first day, and they show up on the scene, and all the civilian guys, and they get off the bus, and they what do they do to them? What happens to those guys? The first thing, people start yelling at them, right? They start yelling at them, and they start berating them immediately, and they get their clothes off. They put them in all the same clothes. Do they cut their hair? Yes. Shave their hair, make them all look exactly the same, and just rip their ass until they just break them down, and the guys just said, okay, I give up. Whatever you want me to do. That's the extreme illustration of authoritarian, coercive way of teaching and leading a group. It's the most famous, the most successful way in history. It's the one that people understand the best. You beat people down, make them scared, just do what I tell you, don't do anything else, don't take any chances, just do what I tell you to do, and then that leader can count on what you can do. Okay, that to me, that's the extreme authoritarian way of teaching. That ain't the way we teach, okay? It's also not the way that special forces units are taught. They're taught, now they beat the hell out of those guys. We relate a lot to the process that those guys go through. They beat the hell out of those guys so they'll learn to persevere, and they can hang through anything. There's nothing that they can't withstand. But they also teach them to think. They teach them to respond to the training that they encounter during the time they're there, so that when it comes time to function, they can't just do only what the guy tells them to do, but they can think for themselves, they can react on their feet, they can respond, and if they're really gifted, they can make great choices and great decisions to do things that one guy could never accomplish otherwise. In special forces, they do just 7 or 8, 9 guys. And they'll take on hundreds of guys, and they can whip their ass because they know how to function together and work together. And they outthink, they outsmart, they outreact. That's the end of the spectrum that we're trying to teach on and coach on. We're at the other end of it. We're trying to celebrate the individual with extraordinary commitment to practice. Practice is everything to us. We work our guys' ass off. They work hard, they work fast, they compete, they battle every day, but they're having a good time doing it because they know that we're supporting and celebrating who they are and empowering them to find their very best. That's the other end of the spectrum. Does that make sense? Popovich is in the middle somewhere, okay? And who's the other one you asked? Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson's kind of more, we're kind of over here, me and Phil, kind of over here a little bit more, And then Bobby Knight's way the hell down here. He's on the other end, Those are the illustrations. And then it's interesting that the authoritarian way doesn't trust people. They don't trust you because they're afraid that your own personal things are going to get in the way and you're going to respond out of the norm and they can't count on you. It's a great way because that's how you control big groups. We just don't think that way anymore. So does that help?
Ooh, okay. Would you say that's a shots fired at Belichick?
Possibly, but I also think that people don't give Belichick enough credit for his ability to trust people and put people in the proper positions. Like we all know about the Patriot way, but inside of that, there were other things, that kind of went on, and that was a system like they had in place where baseline, this is how you function, but outside of that, like he produced some extremely intelligent football players. Came from that system. Like Tom Brady, Richard Seymour, Mike Vrabel. What was the guy that's on TV? Teddy Bruschi. Like a lot of these guys are highly intelligent people, and they were very smart football players as well. So I think that we hear Patriot Way and we think like it's militaristic, and at some point, how you practice and how you conduct yourself and, like the rigors, all that stuff, that's very militaristic. But I also think there was the other side where they did, hey, they allowed people to kind of make decisions and learn and adapt. And like that's part of it as well, But but Pete is totally different.
And he's definitely totally different. He comes in from a different perspective. And it's funny that the way he broke down, Bill Belichick's coaching style, you can actually see it. But the way when I look at it from that perspective, it really helped that he had Tom Brady.
Yeah.
It really helped that your best player was the quarterback, and you had a quarterback for you to enforce that style of coaching.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if that type of coaching would work in today's NFL. Because it's going to be interesting to see what he does at North Carolina. That's kind of a random situation, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because college is all about recruiting, and I don't know what is it going to look like with Bill Belichick coaching over there at age. He's in the 70s, right? I believe he's in the 70s.
Yeah, he's in the 70s too. Yeah, that's why.
It's a rant.
Yeah, he is in the 70s. I think that the thing about Tom Brady is that it worked because, and we can say this with same thing with Greg Popovich. He said, Popovich is kind of in the middle. There are people that would beg to differ and say Popovich was like closer to the Bill Belichick extreme. But when you have a guy like Tom Brady, who is the hardest worker on your team, and he is the leader, that kind of sets the tempo and sets the tone. I think about Steven Jackson, right? Like, he's talking about his podcast. We all kind of know Steven Jackson. He's a hothead, and we hear about him like getting into arguments and fighting and getting in trouble with the league, all that stuff. But you never heard about any of that stuff when he was with the Spurs, right? He was a model citizen. And he was a model citizen, and he spoke about this. He was like, like Popovich would yell and mother F him and do all this stuff. But he was like, man, like I seen Popovich yell and mother F Tim Duncan, and Tim Duncan just sit there and take it and, go out there and just execute. He's like, bro, if Tim Duncan can be talked to like this and sit there and take it, like, who am I to question what Popovich is saying? So I think it works like that when you have Tom Brady there to be that guy. Like, yo, bro, Bill Belichick is treating Tom Brady just like one of the other people. Like, he's coaching him hard and yelling at him and, getting in his face about stuff. If he can do that to Tom Brady and Tom Brady could just take it and go out there and figure out a way to execute, who am I to have a problem with it, or who am I to complain? And I think that's the issue we saw on this team, where it was a lack of accountability and a lack of maturity, where we saw them say with when they had Josh McDaniels as the head coach, they complained about being corrected too much, and film study will run long because they'd always correct them, and practice will run long because they'd stop, and every time a guy would make a mistake, they'd correct the mistake, and they were holding guys to a high standard, and they didn't want guys to like bring their families and stuff to these things, to practices into the stadium, like you do that stuff outside of work. But then when the very next year, when Antonio Pierce was the coach, they complained about, oh, there's no accountability here, and people aren't being disciplined. So it's like when you don't have accountability or you lack maturity, you always find external factors to blame for your own personal failures. When you're a person that's accountable, you look at yourself and you start with yourself first and say, you know what, dang, I could have been doing this, or I should have been doing that. And that kind of manifests itself on the field, where we're an undisciplined football team when we don't execute on Sundays. And it's because instead of people looking at themselves and taking personal accountability, they're saying, oh, well, hey, it's this guy's fault, or it's that guy's fault over there. And, hopefully Pete Carroll, with him, kind of building these guys up and doing it through trust and giving these guys that confidence in self, and him showing them that, hey, you know what, I trust you and I trust your decisions you're going to make. Hopefully that leads to, hey, now people feel more accountable for their own actions, and that people taking that accountability for their own actions translates to the football field as well. I will say one thing I took issue with is he's talking about, we got to practice. But one of the important parts of football is tackling, and they ain't practice tackling. So I was like, bro, don't talk about you need to work on these things when you ain't practicing tackling. Like, take a pause right there. But everything else, I think it's a proven method. He's had success basically everywhere he's went with it.
Yeah. Nah. Hey, man, he's an all-time great coach, man. He's done it in college, done it in the pros, and it's worked. And he's super positive. You can tell. It feels like the players are responding well to him. The players talk about, like, man, the players that just got on the team talking about, like, man, like Pete, you could just feel like how much he encourages you and he's on your side and yada yada yada. But we'll see how it works out. But if you look at history, it has worked for him. Now, that being said, the guy originally asked questions about 3 different coaches. He talked about Popovich, Phil Jackson, and Bill Belichick. I feel like Phil is like in his own category, because what made Phil so great, he combined his system with his ability to manage so much players and personalities. Like, I don't think no one's done it better than him.
Yeah.
No one's done it better than Phil Jackson. I mean, like, from like, you look at those Bulls teams, Scottie Pippen, who, had his own things. You got Michael Jordan, obviously he's the number one guy. Then you got like Dennis Rodman, and you got all these personalities. The fact that he was able to manage these guys and talk to these guys in different ways and understand who they were and kind of push the right buttons. And he did play a lot of mind games too. He would say things in the media and stuff like that. And then you fast forward, you go to the Laker teams, Kobe, Shaq. Yeah. He's a one-on-one, and he won like 11. And the thing is, now as time goes on, you understand how great of a coach he was.
Yeah.
Because how many super teams did we see that didn't work out? And you can say like, oh, well, they weren't as good as Kobe and Shaq. They weren't Michael Jordan. But like, I mean, Kevin Durant was on some of these super teams. You know what I mean? Like, if we're keeping it real.
I mean, that Bulls team was a super team, man. Like him, people forget. Like people will downplay Scottie Pippen. The year Jordan left, like Scottie Pippen was an MVP candidate. I think the Bulls were like the second or third in the East. Like Scottie Pippen was legit a G. Like he was a baller. People don't want to give Scottie his due. Like Scottie was and he did it on both ends of the floor. So and the fact that he had to manage those two guys. Like he had to manage those two personalities. So I think like Phil was able to do that, and then still bringing guys like Dennis Rodman to the fold, and like manage all these different personalities. I think he was like as you said, like that's the part where a lot of people fail. It's not necessarily the X's and O's, but it's the managing the personalities and like getting that stuff to translate onto the floor. Like that's a huge part of it. And there's not a lot of time that gets spent on that aspect of it anymore. I don't believe so. So like as you said, Phil was kind of revolutionary with that.
Yeah, he said. Cool Kev says when Phil got to the Knicks, he was a bum. I mean, how old was Phil, bro? Like he was like probably in his 70s. He was old, man. He could barely. Phil could barely travel, and I remember going to the Laker game when they played the Warriors. I remember they had like a special seat designed for him. Yeah. Like he didn't sit like in a regular. Like he
was like elevated. It's elevated. I don't know if it's back over his knee. But it was something like that. But he wasn't with the Knicks. He wasn't coach. He was an executive. Kurt Rambis was the coach. So you can blame him for that, making that higher. But he wasn't the coach. He was Kurt Rambis.
Did he not? He didn't coach for the Knicks.
I don't believe he coached at all. I think he went
with
there.
The Knicks.
He went there as like an executive, like team president or something like that.
Okay.
So I don't think he coached at all.
See, when you do that, then that's kind of like, that's tough. But yeah, man, Phil's definitely in a whole category within itself. But that being said, if you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We're going live on both our channels. So if you're first time viewing, make sure to subscribe to both. Hit that like button. Also hit the notification for new content. Let's move it along, man. Let's get to what's real, what's not. Severe, man, if you want to lead the way on the first what's real, what's not statement.
Yes, sir. What's real, what's not. So statement number one, we all saw the preseason. We all saw the first half, especially that first quarter, and Aiden O'Connell struggled mightily. And then, second half, Cam Miller came in there and he was cooking. And we've heard some of the rumblings that Cam Miller, we've been hearing this since early on in the process. We've talked about this previously. Cam Miller was like a handpicked guy from Tom Brady. He's one of the people he identified that he wanted on this team. So what's real, what's not, Aiden O'Connell will be traded before the deadline. Aiden O'Connell will be traded before the deadline.
Is that real or is it not? Let us know in the chat.
Time out. I gotta address something in the chat real quick, bro. The bubble champ was the most difficult championship anybody's ever won, bro. People like it's so dumb. People try to discount that championship. It's like it was like everybody was in the bubble, so it was like that. Yeah, everybody said it was the toughest basketball environment they've ever been in. There's no home court advantage, so it was tougher. So since it was harder to play in, you discredit the team that won it. Like that's stupid. That's dumb. That's stupid. Like that's a dumb way of thinking.
I feel like it was hard for a lot of players because they were away from their family. Like they're away from
that's the mental aspect of it.
But as far
as there's no home court advantage. And the Lakers would have had home court advantage.
But I'm sorry, I can't compare it to an actual championship where there's like 20,000 screaming fans.
It was harder. It was like they said it was like playing, like people that went there said it was like playing 2K on Hall of Fame mode. People that were there. So people on the outside want to discredit it, but it was the toughest championship. Everybody who sat there said this is the hardest basketball environment I've ever been in. So the team that won in the toughest environment, you say it doesn't count because it was tough? Like that's dumb. That's objectively dumb.
I don't know, man. I can't say that like
if anything it's extra credit.
Like if you're on the road in a championship game, people screaming and like wanting you to miss the shot, saying all types of crazy stuff.
Exactly.
Tough environment. You're playing a tough team, tough defense, whatever the case may be. You're saying that that was.
This is the most even.
That was.
This is
it
the
was
most
harder
even.
with no
this
fans.
Is the most even. This is the most even it's ever been. There's no fans for you, no fans for them. It's the most even. Everybody's staying in the same place, in the same facility. This is the most level playing field there's ever been. And the Lakers would have had home court advantage through every one of those series, I want to say. So like they gave up home court advantage. So they lost an advantage that they would have had it been a normal circumstance. So you take away the advantage they would have had, and then you put everybody in a level playing field, and the team that won, when everybody else says this is the most difficult environment they've ever been in, you say, oh, that don't count. If anything, like I said, this should count for extra. If you want to look at it like that, like, oh dang, this should have a special place in history. This is the toughest championship anybody's ever won.
I mean, they won the championship at 24 Hour Fitness, man. That's in my book now. I'm playing. Now, hey, you know what? Like, I'm not really tripping off it, but like I don't know. It's just a weird championship, to be honest with you. And you know what, too? To be honest with you, like when you win one, it's like, oh, okay, you had a good year. Like, oh, okay. But if you win 2 or 3, that's when you kind of go down in history. Like, oh, okay, you were actually a great team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you look at some of those teams, like you think about the Lakers, the Warriors. I'll put the Spurs in the category, even though their championships kind of came like every other year, every other 2 years. Yeah, but like they were always a great team or a good team. They're always they're always a tough team to play in the playoffs, and they won like a championship almost like every other year. I think like Tim Duncan ended up finishing with like 5 championships by the end of his career.
Is it 5?
4 or 5. 4 or 5.
Maybe it's 5. Yeah. But the thing about and the issue with that thing is that, you know, you could blame this on Genie or you could blame this on Rob Pelinka, is that like the very next year the Lakers, like, they blew that team up. So like they had the team, they won the championship, and then instead of like bringing back that same team that won it, they blew the team up, and that was crazy. Yeah, so and like that's like, if fans of other teams will say that, or people that don't like LeBron, like, you know, like you'll peep that like people who don't like LeBron or people that are like Jordan Glazers, they'll try to discredit that championship. But, you know, like I said, everybody that was there said it was the most difficult environment. So since it was harder for everybody, like they want to criticize LeBron. It's dumb. It's dumb.
But the Lakers hyped down. There was no crowds. F out of here. Shit was whack as fuck. They didn't even want to play on the BLM crap. Just stop. That's a fact.
Yeah, see? Like what is the BLM crap? How they have anything to do with it? Like, it's not, like, people bring up nonsense. Like stupid stuff. Like ridiculous. This is bring up ridiculous stuff.
All right. Well, let's get back to the original What's Real, What's Not. And the original What's Real, What's Not is that Aiden O'Connell will get traded before the trade deadline. Aiden O'Connell will get traded before the trade deadline, which is in October, or is it November?
Yes, I think it's I think they changed it. It used to be week 4. Now I think it's week 6. I think week 6.
Oh damn!
I think it's week 6, I believe.
Okay. So put it that way. Nah, I'm gonna say that's not real. I'm gonna say it's not real. And the reason why I say it's not real is just like Cam Miller is a 6th round pick. I think everybody is excited, which, you know, he played well in that first preseason game, but he is going against like 3rd stringers, and then there you gotta like factor in like he is coming from like you know, the level of competition where he's coming from. There is like a learning curve, a developmental factor for him. AOC has played in like bigger games too as well. He has starter experience. I feel like that just, if you mix that all in together, that's a perfect backup QB that you can have. Like, if whatever, you know, we don't want Geno to get hurt, but let's say if he has to miss a game, you know, AOC can at least play one game. You know what I mean? You run the ball, you run the hell out of that ball, play action. He'll get it to like Brock Bowers. Don't let him play outside of his skill set. Obviously, you know, him pushing it down the field is probably not a big part of his game, but he's accurate. You just got to stay away from forcing, you know, from throwing interceptions. But I think ALC is going to be the backup, bro. I don't think he's going to get traded. So I'm going to say that's not real.
I'm going to say not real as well. I think partially because I think Aiden hurt his stock in week 1 of preseason. He threw two pretty horrible interceptions, like 2 of the worst kind of interceptions you can throw. And like one showcased his lack of physical ability where he underthrew a deep ball. And the other one where it was like a processing issue where he didn't read the cover 2, and then like he threw to a spot where DB was basically just standing there waiting to pick it off. So I think some teams might have had some interest before. I think that hurt it a little bit. But, you know, what makes me think that it could happen is that I think they really like Cam Miller. We see how this regime has no problem discarding people that showcased some ability last year but don't necessarily fit their system. You know, look at everybody that they let walk in free agency. Then you look at the Jacorian Bennett trade. That's another perfect example. So they want their own guys in here. The only reason I'm going to say it's not real is just because Chip Kelly, he's rather adaptable offensively. So even though I'm sure he prefers somebody with some mobility, he can make it work with Aiden if need be. So they might hang on to him, and I also don't think they'll get like value for him back in the trade. But I can see it happening. I'm going not real, but I can see it. I can see a path.
The only thing I could think of is that like Pete Carroll in the past, you know, he's in the past and the present, he's preached competition.
Yeah. And
we've seen him give guys a chance to start or play meaningful snaps based off like how they were able to compete and how they showed up in, you know, obviously in training camp, off season, or whatever case may be. That being said, it's like, man, I don't know. I can't see it, man. I can't see it right now. But we'll see, man. From what the reports say, Cam Miller was hand chosen. He was the chosen one by Tom Brady. Tom Brady was he got the thumbs up by Tom Brady. Go ahead and draft that guy. So and the Raiders actually target him. So they were actually trying to draft Cam Miller. Obviously, they wanted to pick him at the right spot, but we'll see. We'll see, man. And it's gonna be interesting too, just because like what happens if he balls out next game, and like Aiden O'Connell throws like 3 interceptions or struggles because Aiden threw an interception. We're talking about the corner that was making plays today at training camp. Guess who he was intercepting? He was intercepting Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, and I want to say one of the Devin White ones was Aiden O'Connell too. If I remember. The
other one was Geno though. At least one of them.
Yeah. One of them was Geno for sure. It was on 707. Oh no, as a matter of fact, Geno got pressured and he threw a pick. I think Max pressured him. He threw a pick. But I think that the other 2 were Aiden. So.
Yeah. Aiden and Tyree running for best value. How did you feel about Tyree?
Trash.
You say he's trash?
Trash. Oh my God, trash. Watching the tape. It was bad, man. It was bad.
For real?
Like he had 2 the 2 plays that were good were the only 2 good plays he had the entire game. He had like the one play where I think Arroyo tried to like cut him and he was able to it was a pretty poor attempt at a cut block and he was able to stay on it, keep his feet and make the tackle. Then the other play, I want to say he was being blocked by a tight end on the other run stop as well. And he made the tackle. So both the plays he made were like plays against tight ends. There's one play where a third string right tackle basically threw him out the club. if it wasn't for Tommy Eichenberg getting in his way, like Tyree got pushed 7 yards back. If it wasn't for Tommy Eichenberg being in the path, he would have been 10, 11 yards. Like it was just a calamity of errors from him. Just poor play, still no pass rush, still not a lot of hustle. Get off is a little bit better, but still not like great. It's bad. It's bad. It's like I was like going into it. I think, okay, people saying the right things about Tyree. I'm thinking, okay, man, maybe Tyree has a good year this year. Maybe he picks it up a little bit. Oh man, I'm not. I'm saying it's a lost cause. He's a lost cause.
Wow.
It's like he'll be on the Raiders until his contract is up, I think. So this year and next year. But
so you would go ahead and sign. You would go ahead and sign the DN, the passer, Jadeveon Clowney, because he would basically take Tyree's role.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I wasn't in favor of it before, and I'm still, because I would say the Raiders, I can see why they would sign him, because they're like they think they can win 10 games this year for whatever reason. So I can see why they're like, yeah, man, we get another guy in here, hey, we can do well. And then when Jadeveon played for Pete in Seattle, I think he had a pretty good year too. So I can see that'd be a situation where Pete does that. But I'm of the opinion where I don't want anything in Tyree's way. I don't want anybody saying that Tyree didn't get a chance and he didn't get enough plays, and I don't want none of that. I want Tyree to get as much playing time as possible. There will be no obstacles in his way. That way, if he does not do well, we can say it's on Tyree and nothing else. So that's where I'm at with it. And because I'm not expecting us to be a competitor this year, so it's kind of a lost cause anyway. See what you have in the guy, and that way that informs your decision on what you need to do in the draft next year. But I can see why the Raiders will want to pick up Clowney.
You see why I made that statement last week, saying that the Raiders defense is going to be terrible, or it's going to be trash this season. It's because it's just too many question marks. Now, could it be good? It's possible, but it's just like when it's that many question marks, like, and not enough like answers outside of like Max Crosby, I'm like, man. And then like at least like that defensive line, I was like, all right, if we D line could come together, we get some pressure, make the job easier for the back end, secondary. You know what I mean? But now the defensive line is kind of like, man, some young players are gonna have to figure out if they're gonna be able to contribute early. Now at this point, you're dependent on what fourth rounders, third rounders. It's just like Hemingway, is he going to be consistent enough to depend on? Is he going to play the inside, or is he going to play on at the end? And then you got like, who else? You got JJ Pegues.
JJ Pegues actually, he looked pretty good. Tucker Hemingway looked pretty good too.
How you feel about the guy pick up Thomas Booker? What'd you think of him?
He was solid, hit or miss. He has a good get off, great hustle. Some plays where he didn't put good film out there, but other plays he looked good. So I think for his role, like he's a second down guy, not a lot of pass rush. I'm not mad at that pickup.
You know where they placed? You know where he was getting snaps at? Nose tackle.
That's I can see that because he's a run stopper. He's like not a whole lot of pass rush. But he's kind of replacing Leaky Foot too.
And on top of that too, like that's kind of what the Raiders need. Because who was a nose tackle in the past? Like guys like John Jenkins, you know what I mean? Who literally was like signing like 1-year deals because we didn't have an answer at that spot outside of him. So if he's able to, if we got someone that can stop the run, but then who's going to be able to get after the pass? Now we're depending on like the Adam Butlers of the world. Probably he's going to have to like step up. He's going to take his game to another level. And then, you said Jonah Lalu is another guy I like too as well. Like who's right now is a projected starter, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. All right, well let's go to the next flag on the play.
Next, what's real, what's not?
Oh yeah, not what's real, what's not. My bad. Zamir White will replace Mostert as a running back number 2. Zamir White will replace Mostert as running back 2. Is that real or is it not? Let us know in the chat. Night crew in the building, man. Let us know in the chat. Is it real or not that Zamir White will replace Mostert as a running back number 2? What's your take on this?
I think he will, man. I think he will. I think he's been, from what I hear, he's been having a great camp, a really good camp. And when there are other running backs that are taking snaps with the ones outside of Genty, it's usually Zamir. I think he got. I don't remember the game. I think he got first look after Genty, in terms of rushing the ball. Don't quote me on that. In the preseason game, I believe that's what I remember seeing though. But just from everything I've been hearing about what he's been doing in camp, I think he's a guy. I think he'll be behind Genty. He's one of our better, probably our best running back in terms of pass pro. He's a dog in pass protection as well. So I think that's going to earn them snaps. We kind of see they tried him on at kickoff returner like that. That was an odd look. So I think he's a guy. He's definitely making the team at this point.
Zamir is good in pass protection.
Oh, Zamir is excellent in pass protection. He's the best we have. It's not like he's the best. I don't remember. I think Mostert is good.
I've never seen him in that role. Like I gotta think, because I haven't, like, the thing about Zamir White, like we haven't really seen too much of him, like, at all. Like,
yeah,
because he's had injuries.
Yeah,
and then sometimes his roles, a lot of his sometimes role will come in like at first, second down. Usually, who would have that third down roles like the Amir Abdullahs, and then like. Before that, it was somebody else. He was like a McDaniels scholarship guy.
Yeah, Brandon Bolden. Was it Brandon Bolden?
Brandon Bolden. So it's kind of like I never seen like Zamir White have that role like on third down. Doesn't mean that he was never in a situation where he had to pass protect. But okay.
No, Zamir.
I don't know. Zamir is just like one of those like I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's not a natural runner. He's not a natural runner. Like, to me, like he's not like a guy that like he has the physical tools, but he's just, I'm gonna run 100 miles straight into the wall. I don't know. Like he reminded me a little bit of Justin Fargas a little bit in that way, where he just runs straight. I think I think that's a misconception people have. I've seen, because I can pull up plays and show you like, oh, he finds a hole right here. I can pull up plays where he's made guys miss in the backfield, and he's gained yardage. Like, I can pull up all that stuff. I think people came in with preconceived notions on what they thought Zamir was. And then they kind of overcorrected, and I'm one of them. I didn't think he was as bad as other people was, but I didn't have a whole lot of high expectations for him. Then he had what he did down the stretch of 2023. He kind of overcorrected where, hey, man, he can be a starter in the league. And I think that last year, like he had such a bad year, and a lot of that had to do with offensive line play. And now, the same people that want to hold Zamir White accountable for what he did last year want to make excuses for Genty for what he did preseason week 1, where it's generally a lot of the same symptoms, where if there's not a hole there, there's not a hole there. Well,
and then
who's better?
When we started,
who's better?
Genty's better, but that proves my point even further. It was that like Genty couldn't make something out of nothing. So I'm not expecting Zamir to make something out of nothing. And we weren't able to start running.
But he only had 3 carries though.
Yeah, but just extrapolate that. If there's no hole there, like a generational running back couldn't do anything when the offensive line wasn't blocking for him. So if you can't expect the same thing out of Zamir White. But we didn't start running well.
You're using 3 carries though. You're using 3 carries to decide to prove your point. But in
Yeah,
reality
but
is that like there's a bigger sample size with
yeah,
Zamir White.
but it only takes one play to say, like, if you guys aren't blocking, if you're not blocking for the guy, like I don't need to see a whole lot of plays to say if you're not blocking, there's no lane for you to run through, then you're not going to be able to get very far. Like it's not going to take like a whole, like, let me look at 500 carries. Like if there's no lanes there, you're not going to be able to run the ball. And you see, we couldn't run the ball last year until Colton Miller got healthy, until JPJ was at center and Meredith was at guard. Once we got that combination on the line of scrimmage and they got a few games under their belt, all of a sudden Sincere and Amir Abdullah, who were afterthoughts the entire year, all of a sudden they're productive in the run game. And, you know, obviously Norv Turner and Scott Turner taking over the play calling. But once all that happened, then we started being able to run the ball. But it took all of that to happen before we can run the ball. So like your play caller and what your line is doing is very important to the run game.
You definitely have to run more than 3 times in order to like at least establish a run game. You can't run 3 times and be like, oh, we have a run game. Like you got to establish a run game, and sometimes it's gonna take more than 3 times because you just said that all I had to see was you're missing the point. You're taking what I said and you're turning to something else. I'm not saying we don't have a run game. My point is that if people aren't in front of you, aren't blocking, then you're not going to have success on the run play. Like I only have to see that one time. Like if I see somebody like shoot a weird ass jump shot, I don't have to see them shoot it 50 times for me to say like, yo, bro, you're not going to have success as a shooter shooting like that. Like it only takes one time for me to see that. Like I only have to see if the people in front of you aren't opening up running lanes, you're not going to be able to run the ball. Like I only need to see that one time for me to say like, okay, people in front of you have to block for you to have success running the ball. Now, obviously, the back has to do their part as well, but we weren't good at run blocking last year. But we weren't good at run blocking this last game. But you're see what you're saying is that you only need to see it one time, but in order to establish a run game, sometimes you have to rush. Like
you're missing
You're saying it takes only one time to see the guys in front of you, or the guys that are blocking can't block, or they can't.
No, that's not what. See, look, that's why I said. Listen. It only takes one time for me to say, if the guys in front of you don't block for you, then you aren't going to be able to run the ball. I'm not saying that the guys in front of you can't block. All I have to see is one play to say that they can't block. I'm not saying that the running back behind them can't run. You can't establish that on one play, but it only takes one time for you to see that if the guys in front of you don't block, you aren't going to be able to run the ball. Like, is that connected? Like you're turning into something else.
Yeah, but you're saying it only takes one time to figure that out though. Like why can't it just be more than once though?
But that you're turning into something else. All it takes is one time for me to see that if you don't. Okay, perfect example.
Okay,
let's play like this. Let's say we completely remove the offensive line from a quarterback, right? And we say, okay, you have to throw the ball in this situation, but you have no offensive line blocking for you. Like, how many times do you have to see that happen for you to say, you know what, you should have people in front of you blocking? Like, you don't need to see that a bunch of times. You say, oh, damn, well, this is not going to work if nobody's blocking for this guy. It only takes one time. That's not to say that, you don't need a big sample size. So I'm not saying that the guys in front of him can't block. I'm not saying that he is the best runner. I'm just saying that if the guys in front of you don't block, you aren't going to have success as a runner. Only need to see that once to establish that. To say, okay, damn, you need blocking in front of you to run the ball. Like, I only need to see that one time.
Yeah. Okay. If when you say it like that, of course, yeah. Like you need, yeah.
That's what I was saying. That's my point.
But why'd you even have to say that though? To say that like, oh, I need to see. All I need to see that no, if you don't get blocking, then it's not going to work. We all understand that. That's like a given though.
Exactly my point. So that's why Zamir White didn't. That's a big reason why he didn't work last year. Now, obviously, Zamir White is nowhere near Genty. But last year, the run blocking was poor last year. We all know that. The run blocking was poor this first preseason game. We all understand that. That's why Zamir White was bad last year. Genty, obviously, we didn't have, a bigger sample size, but he wasn't good in those 3 carries mainly because of the offensive line. It wasn't because Genty is not a good back. It was because he didn't have good blocking in front of him. So we only needed to see that, dang, if you don't block for this generational talent, you're not going to be able to take advantage, or people say is generational talent, you aren't going to be able to take advantage of his talents. So if a guy that good can't make something out of nothing with bad blocking, I don't expect Zamir White, who's a worse player, to be able to make something out of nothing.
I hear what you're saying, man, but I don't think Zamir is that good of a player, though. I don't think he's that. I'm not comparing him to Gentine. I'm not saying that you are, but I still don't feel like I still don't feel like Zamir is that good of a player, even with good blocking. Can he be serviceable in a limited role? Possibly. The only time we've seen that stretch that he had at the end of the season, ending in like what that 22-23 season, at the end of that season, where he kind of came in for Josh, and he played well, which kind of gave a little bit of optimism to what he can do the next season. But when he had an extended role, he wasn't able to capitalize off that.
Well, he had an extended role that year.
I don't know. Look, when I see Sincere McCormick come in, pretty much the same circumstances. He's playing with the same guys.
No, he was not. That's the thing. He wasn't playing with the same guys.
Oh my God! Sincere
he was not playing
McCormick
with the same. He wasn't playing with the same guys.
So who's a better running back? Sincere McCormick or Zamir?
Zamir White.
Nah, I don't agree.
Sincere not going to make this team. Sincere's not going to make this team.
I don't agree, man.
Sincere's not going to make this team. Sincere going to make this team, and Zamir White's going to be your RB2. It's going to be Genty, Zamir, and Mostert and Lauby on this team.
I think Sincere McCormick's a better running back than Zamir.
I don't agree. And I think that he played on the offensive line that was better, with better play calling, and a situation where you had JPJ starting at center, Meredith in there at guard, and they actually had time together at that point. Like Amir Abdullah put up better numbers than Sincere McCormick. Do you think Amir Abdullah is better than Sincere?
I think Amir Abdullah had more experience than Sincere, and he played a role. His role was that third down back role. Sometimes
he started and put up better numbers.
Did he start? I think Sincere McCormick had some starts, right? Didn't he have
Sincere had some starts too, and then he got hurt, and then it was Amir Abdullah. That's my point.
So Sincere started over Amir Abdullah.
Sincere just like Zamir White started over Sincere McCormick. It's like that's neither here nor there.
No, but Sincere started over Amir Abdullah when Amir Abdullah was healthy.
Yeah.
Okay then. So what are we arguing about?
But since Zamir White started over Sincere McCormick, like, so what are we arguing? Like, that's not
because
Zamir, judge of who's better.
Zamir White was drafted in the 4th round. Sincere McCormick was he an undrafted free agent? So there's a little bit of I think there's a little bit of okay, they invested this much into this guy. They want to figure out if this guy can be the answer because they drafted him in the 4th round compared to a guy that's undrafted. That doesn't matter. It does matter to some people. It does matter though. It does matter. Sometimes where a player is drafted affects how much they play.
But
or the opportunity they get.
First of all, they get. Neither Tom Telesco nor Antonio Pierce drafted Zamir White. So they had no attachment to Zamir White at all. Neither did Luke Getsy. Nobody had any attachment to Zamir White at that point. And not like he was like a super high pick. He was like you said, a 3rd round pick. So that's even more case for, hey, if there's a guy better than him, we can move off of this guy and go with this other guy, this cheaper guy. Obviously they felt Zamir was the better of the two. I still feel Zamir is the better of the two. Like I said, I don't think Zamir White is as good as he showed down the 2023 stretch when he led the league in rushing and yards per carry in those games he started. I think it's like 5-6 games. He's not that good, but he's not as bad as what he showed in the beginning of the year last year before he got hurt. So I think he's somewhere in between that, and I still think that somewhere in between that is better than Sincere McCormick.
Yeah, but I do think that where someone is drafted factored into the opportunities that it gets, because sometimes you'll see like former first round picks get a lot of opportunity with other teams. They'll sign with other teams compared to a guy that's like undrafted or doesn't have as much, attention, you know what I mean, based off where he was drafted. Like, I feel like guys who get drafted in the first round, they get more opportunities. They get more looks because, this is former first round pick, even though he didn't work out with this team. So I think where someone is drafted does matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean
first
that
round
they
picks
have
are
to,
different though. First round picks are different. I mean it's different for a first round pick.
Pierce was on the coaching staff when Zamir was drafted to the team, so he was aware of who Zamir was. He's seen Zamir every day playing on like offense while he was a linebacker coach.
He wasn't on the coaching staff. That was Gruden and them, I want to say, that drafted Zamir. That was Dave Ziegler. Dave Ziegler okay.
and McDaniels drafted Zamir White, and they drafted a couple of D tackles.
Oh yeah, it was Ziegler. It was Ziegler. Yeah, it was Ziegler. Yeah.
Yeah, and they drafted your boy from UCLA.
Brenton Brown.
Yeah,
Brenton Brown.
He was trash,
Brenton
whatever.
Brown,
but I remember they drafted like two running backs that draft, and Brenton Brown was one of them. Did Sincere McCormick also get picked up as an undrafted free agent that year?
He was UDFA. I don't know if he was that year or the next year. Yeah, but he was UDFA. But I don't remember if it was that year or next year.
My point is that like guys who get drafted, I feel like they get more of an opportunity. They get more of a look than a guy that's undrafted. I feel like that's why I respect the undrafted free agents. Like there's an uphill battle that they obviously got to prove that they can be on the roster, but they also have to, there's a politics part about it where they got to they got to overcome that. They got to be able to be show that, hey, they're worth being on the roster, but also have to beat the guy in front of them. And then the guy in front of them, he's a guy was drafted in the 4th round, and they're gonna give him every opportunity to succeed.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like Sincere McCormick is better when I see him run the football. Like when I've seen him get an opportunity come in, but
Sincere not gonna make this team. Sincere not. It's gonna be Genty, Zamir, Mostert, and Lobby. Only way I can see Sincere making this team is if they say, you know what, we don't go with Mostert, but I don't really see that happening. I think Lobby sneaks in because of what he does on special teams. So I don't see Sincere making this team.
And I think if he doesn't make the team, it's because of special teams.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's the best runner, because it's not like he can't play. Not like he can't play special teams. I just think that Lobby plays it better. So and Zamir.
But Lobby's a return man, right? Sincere McCormick, he's returned it, but I don't think he has
I think Lobby plays. I think Lobby can play on coverage units too. But that's even more the case where it's okay, if you can be one of the guys on special teams as a coverage guy, that's value right there. People Zamir White is not going to play. He's not going to play special teams. I doubt if he ends up being a returner either. I think they're just trying something in preseason, but I doubt if he does that during the regular season. And he's not going to. I don't think he's going to play on any of the kicking or punting units. So. That's a place where Sincere can make a name for himself. I don't think he's better than Zamir. I think him and Lobby are about even. I think as a pure runner, Sincere is better. As a receiver, Lobby is better. So at that point, it's kind of a wash. It's who do you prefer? I think Lobby, what he does on special teams, he offers you a little bit more there. So I don't see Sincere making this team.
We'll see. Let's see. Peter Spytek might bring another running back off the wire.
I doubt it.
I don't see that.
Every beat writer is saying Zamir's having a fantastic camp, being a standout. So.
I also said they said some good things about McCormick. I think Tashawn Reed was talking about McCormick having a good camp as well. Hey, you can take that for however ways. You don't think Sincere McCormick is a good running back? That's crazy. Or you don't think he's better? Not to say he's not a good running back. You're not saying that he's better than you think Zamir is better than Sincere.
I think Zamir's a better player. Yeah, I think Zamir's a better player.
He had a gruesome knee injury.
I think both of them are RB2s at best, but I think Zamir is a better player.
Lobby kind of came out of nowhere. We didn't hear nothing about Lobby until like the preseason game happened, and then like wow, like he was making plays. We'll see what happens, man. Let's see right here. Let's see. They both ass. Hey, you know there's that too. That's a
strong possibility, but hey, some asses are bigger than others.
Hey man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in at this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Yeah, that's the one thing that I agree with. Sincere is injury prone. That's like the biggest thing with him. But then like Zamir too. Zamir too.
Like I said, I don't want that to be like people. Oh, he's injury prone. Zamir got hurt he got hurt. I think he got hurt his first year, and he's like he didn't had two. He had 2 ACLs at Georgia. Like like he's like this a spitting image of health.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're gonna give the other running backs more opportunities to play with like the starters, especially this game.
Collier, I mean, I don't know, but
I've
heard some people that like Collier though. I've heard some people that like Collier.
like a Dylan Lobby or like a McCormick. You know what I mean?
I think
you know what I'm saying. Like we'll see. We'll see what it looks like.
Sincere played this last game, didn't he?
I didn't notice like if he played or not. I mean, he did play. He did play. I'm just playing.
Yeah, he played. I don't remember what he did.
I mean, playing, but he had I know he had a kickoff. He actually brought it out to like the 40, so like a 30, 35, 30. Like it was actually a solid kickoff return. But I think he had a couple of snaps, but he didn't really do anything with it. The Raiders couldn't run the ball in the first half.
Yeah.
Like, and I think for the most part he played in the first half. I don't know if he played in the second half. Second half was more
Sincere.
Nah.
Zamir.
Zamir.
Oh yeah. Zamir. Oh no, I was talking about Sincere. I remember Zamir. I think Zamir only had. I think he only had one run. It's like one run for 1 yard or something like that.
Sincere played in the second half.
Yeah, I don't remember what he did. I don't remember him being like bad or anything like that. I just don't remember what he did. I remember Lobby being pretty impressive. I don't remember Collier either, to be honest with you. Only person I really remember at running back in the second half was Lobby.
Yeah. Let me just let's see. He had like 3 carries for 11 yards, 3.7.
Was it Sincere?
Zamir had 10 carries for 40 yards. Oh damn. I'm just playing. He had 2 carries for 2 carries for 1 yard.
I'm gonna say, yeah, I remember one time he got like a yard, another time he got stuffed. I want to say on the short yardage play.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of done with the Zamir White experiment or experience. So I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Like, yeah, I'm done with it, bro. I'm done with it.
I like it. RB2 incoming.
That's ugly. If that was the case, then they should have drafted a running back. They should have drafted another running back in the later round instead of like.
I felt they should have. They chose not to.
Would you have picked up old boy from? Oh man, he actually played against the Raiders. The Seahawks. He played on the Seahawks. They picked him up in the 7th round. It's crazy.
Lonnie.
Nah, it's like a
physical Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez.
I like Martinez. Damian Martinez. I like Martinez.
Big physical back. I'm like, Gentry's not that big. I'm not sure if like they want to put him in like short yardage situation. That would have been nice. Or the guy that went to the Chiefs. I was hella mad when the Chiefs picked him up. He was like a former wide receiver turned into a running back.
Rashard Smith.
SMU.
Rashard Smith, SMU, yeah.
I hope he's a bust. I hope he's ass. I just hope he's ass. He played for the Chiefs.
That's a nice little pickup for them.
You know what I mean? But that's like kind of like, you know, they might not have needed now. Because maybe if Dylan Lobby can show out, maybe Dylan Lobby could have that role. Like, you know, the guy that could be that third down back role. Yeah. But We'll see, man. But Severe, man, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
You guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, IG, Snapchat, TikTok, X, Twitch, Kick, everywhere, man. The Severe Raider. Holla at your boy. Here every Tuesday night at the world famous 50/50 show. Also Thursday nights with Around the Shield. Also rocking on my guys on Tuesdays in the Raider War Room, Chris from Protect the Shield and 805 Raider. Also on Sundays. So that's, we do a little bit of film stuff there. But yeah, holla at your boy, man. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe, hit those notification bells. And if you're on my channel, make sure you head over to Pharaoh's and do the same. Show that same love to him as you show to me. And stay tuned for the next one, man. Coming at you guys with that real raw and uncut. It's not always positive, man, but we got to keep it real, man. You're never going to hear, hey, coach, hey, hey, guilty as charged. But man, hey, you might not always like everything you hear, man, but you always going to hear my honest opinion, man. I'm always going to give it to you straight. And you never have to worry about me trying to say something because I think you'll like it. And I just keep it real, man. Hey, you don't always, but I'm one of those people that if I'm wrong, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. So, that's how it is.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. We'll be back at it later this week, man. Around the Shield this Thursday. Make sure to tune in. Hopefully we have a guest this week. So we'll have a great conversation. This Thursday, the joint practice, 49ers Raiders.
Yeah.
Definitely something that you want to tune into and keep track of, because the 49ers are a physical team. It's a good test for the Raiders, who actually need to get their act together in that department as far as their physicality part. They're going to have to wrap up, tackle, do whatever they can to get to compete with the 49ers. So we'll see what it looks like. We'll see we'll be here to talk about it this Thursday. And obviously they play the 49ers in the preseason game on Saturday. And for what it sounds like, Pete Carroll said that the starters are going to be playing in this game. So
he said a lot too.
Yeah, so maybe first half. Gino plays first half.
I mean, if it's first half of this, right? I was thinking like maybe entire first quarter and maybe another series into the second. But like you said, they need a lot of time on task. So if it is the first half, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and Pete Carroll, from what it looks like, he's definitely trying to take advantage of preseason.
Yeah,
like he's not like looking at it from a perspective of like, nah, we're gonna let Brock Bowers sit, we're gonna let this guy sit. Nah, we're gonna use this time to let the starters kind of get some reps, get some opportunity to play within the offense, get hit, get tackled, whatever the case may be. But yeah, man, that's going to be interesting to see, because I want to see Ashton Genty. I'm not going to lie. Like, I want to see Ashton Genty.
Yeah, I want to see extended playing time.
But then it's just like, damn, like, I also want to see Ashton Genty and Chip Kelly's lab.
Like
you know what I mean? With all the, creative ways that he can run the football, and you just combine that with Ashton Genty's skill set. I want to see what that looks like. But I guess we're gonna have to wait until week 1 for that. But hey, at the end of the day, like we'll see what happens this week. Let's see if the offensive line responds well. Let's see if this defense responds well. Let's see if they can, clean up, because the last preseason game was pretty sloppy. Hopefully that they clean that up. So I'll be looking forward to it. And it's gonna start this Thursday, joint practice. Raiders 49ers. We'll be here to talk about it around the Shield. Make sure to tune in. Make sure to clock in. At this point, clock out. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Good conversation, man. The chat was active, man. The night crew was in the building.
Serious.
Yeah, let's go, man. Kevin Lucas says 50-50 late night. Raiders. Hey, man. Got to give you the salute. Yeah, the team needs to get into game shape, and that's what, and that's the vibe, the energy that I'm getting from Pete Carroll. To be honest with you, is the fact that he's going to use these preseasons to get the team ready. He's not gonna. I know you kind of made a point that he's not using training camp practices to tackle to the ground, but like he's going to have the starters out there. So if he's going to have the starters out there to tackle to the ground, I guess that's his way of saying like, all right, well, here we go. The bullets is flying. You got another opponent, another person that you haven't practiced against, trying to win a job, trying to make it into the NFL roster, going at you 100 miles per hour. So like, I guess that's a good test, better than I get controlled environment. But we'll see what they do with the joint practice. I wonder if they're going to tackle to the ground in the joint practice. That's going to be interesting.
I don't know if they've done so in the past. I don't know.
Yeah,
that is interesting.
Yeah, well,
I would say probably no, but you never know.
Yeah, man, we out of here. Severe, any last thoughts before we head out?
Oh yeah, man, I forgot to say if anybody's in the LA area, man, week 1 we are doing a watch party at my boys' bar in Hawthorne, man. So holla at me, man. You check my IG for details, and hope to see somebody there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, man. We up out of here. Oh man, that's great show, man. Peace.
Just win, baby.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.